We don't do that here.
So please stay tuned in. We're gonna go live in a few minutes. Don't forget, please add us as a friend on Facebook so that you can follow our live feed. And not only that, please add us on Twitter and Instagram at the Gray Area Media. Please visit our website at www.thegrayareamedia.
Thank you. Welcome to the Gray Area. The Gray Area Media. We've obligated ourselves to be the voice for all communities, speaking on topics that include community, religion, education, politics, technology, sports, health, and wellness. The Gray Area Media is a platform created by longtime friends for the sole purpose of providing our communities with the ability to voice current, past, and modern day issues. The Gray Area, in its naming significance, solely speaks to the area in which people shy away from speaking because of media-based constraints or contractual-based obligations. Well, I'm here to tell you, we don't do that here. So please, stay tuned in. We're going to go live in a few minutes. Don't forget, please add us as a friend on Facebook so that you can follow our live feed. And not only that, please add us on Twitter and Instagram at The Gray Area Media. Please visit our website at www.thegrayareamedialive.com. Thank you. Hello, viewers. We are live right now, and this is the Gray Area. This is your boy, Ray E. This is your boy, P. Will.
Hi, this is your girl, Ebony.
Ebony, she came on strong.
Ebony
got special.
I've been working on my introduction.
Ebony got some extra excitement today because we got her a new mic.
Yes, we
You know what
did.
I'm saying? As y'all know, all year
Yay.
long, Ebony's been, sharing the mic with
Patrick's
Patford over
been
here.
so
Yeah, man, she
stingy,
can keep that bad attitude, elsewhere now.
Tell the viewers what you think about light-skinned people, Pat.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Look, you see,
Uh-huh.
look, man, okay.
You're going to start something.
See how she
No.
We're going to
First,
talk politics, so we're going to just include
We're
that.
going to get into that. We're going to get into
Okay.
that. But, y'all, we have a special guest here today.
We will.
You lucky you got
My
a
man,
special guest.
Amp Harris, is in the building.
What's up, bro?
What's happening, man?
Hey, y'all
He feels the same way, man, about
Light-skinned people?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ed, don't let him put it.
I
He
didn't
feels the
think
same
so.
way.
I didn't
Man.
think so.
Man, look.
I'm going to speak for myself.
Thank
I
you,
love
Em.
light-skinned people.
There you go.
Including Patrick.
Told you.
Oh, yo. It's all good.
See?
His name is Pat B. Shore. Named after
that's
Al B.
right.
Shore.
I'm not light-skinned, though.
There we go. So, Ant, what up and up, man? You're not new to the Gray Area. You was on in here earlier this year in
Nah,
March when we
man.
first got
Wow.
going.
I was here. I was the guinea pig.
Yeah. You was in the
He's a
beginning,
kid.
The
boy.
microphones really
We
worked.
yeah. You was in the beginning when we was still trying to get it together.
We had like a half of a person listening.
Oh, man.
Absolutely.
It's an apple person.
Absolutely. We didn't know if all
man.
5 mics would work or just 2.
We had no idea.
We
Wow.
got it through, though, man.
But
was
look
going.
here, man. It looked good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And y'all
Absolutely.
grown since then.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
man.
Grown,
Y'all buying
grown.
new microphones. I walk in and got a new mic on.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Here.
Mike's on deck.
Monitors go out. We got plenty monitors in the back.
Absolutely.
That's the gray area.
There it is. Gotta always be ready. We got a lot to talk about today, man.
Yeah,
you
man.
know, you got a toy drive going on.
Yeah, man. You know,
yeah.
I gotta get back to my little kids, man. My little baby kids, man.
What inspires that, man? Like, what motivates you to do that?
Me.
You.
Yeah, because I used to be one of them and still am.
One of them what? Just
One of them kids that grew up in a single parent home, didn't know what I was getting for Christmas.
Right.
Got a pair of socks and thought it was the greatest thing in the world because I got to rattle the paper.
Wow.
So, you know, being blessed to be able to kind of have some semblance of success and being able to have access to what I call magnets, which are my celebrity friends, if I may,
Sure.
to shine a light on things like that, which the toy thing for me is the toys is just a topic.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, the issue is being able to provide image of positivity for these young kids that come from these low income areas, that
sure.
are born and raised with single parents, and show them that if you consider me to be a success story, then you too can do this. And so, you know, a lot of people they focus, and I mean it's really crazy because that's always been one of my talking points is images, and whether if it's what you see, what you hear, how it can influence your day-to-day life. And so right now, the world that we live in, images is what's destroying us. And so
Very
my
true.
goal is to show our kids, whether if you white, black, purple, green, it doesn't matter.
Right.
If you come from poverty, poverty doesn't have a color. It is what it is. So
That's a good point.
what I've tried to do, and my mom instilled in me, and she's the strongest person I know because she sacrificed whatever she had for 8 siblings, and I'm the youngest one.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when the Spirit led me, and I've been doing this for years. It's just now the last 4 years, 3 or 4 years, it's just become more advertised, if I may, so
Sure.
people see it. A
Right.
lot of stuff that I do, it's not something that I show to the public, but
Right.
someone put it on my heart. They said, man, you need to let people know
Yeah.
what you do. Actually, it was my pastor, my big brother, Jeffrey A. Johnson, senior pastor at Eastern
Shout out
Star
to Jeffrey
Church.
Shout out to
Johnson,
Jeffrey
Where
Johnson.
Jesus is exalted in the word,
Word is
explained.
explained.
Absolutely. And Jeffrey Johnson Jr.
Yeah, man. Shout
Yeah,
out to
JJ.
Jeffrey. Yeah.
The Jays is what
He's
I
been
call
here,
them.
yeah.
I call them the Jays, man. They're the original Jays. It's the OJs and the Jordans.
Oh, yeah, not the Fords. Okay. Got you.
But he had mentioned to me, he was like, man, you know, you do a lot of stuff that people don't see, and the way that you go about doing it is really important for people to see that. And
Right.
so, you know, I've never looked at myself, one, as being anything of a celebrity. But I guess when you come from where I come from, and you're a professional at something other than sports and a rapper,
Right.
Right.
then yeah, I guess you can consider that as a pro and a celebrity. And so I never carried myself that way. So the long and short of it is the Toy Drive, man, is just something that to inspire single parents, because I talk about my trials and tribulations. I talk about my mother. I talk about my sisters, people who actually went through it, which is where, you know, when you talk about images, it's easy to talk about the topical things
Right.
and what makes people happy.
Right.
Yeah.
But my focus in life has always been joy and issues. Like, I don't want to talk about what the wrapper looks like on the soda can. I want to talk about the ingredients in the soda can.
Got you. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
right.
that's what this is. So a lot of stuff that I do, especially community work,
Yeah.
I always tell people I have my magnets. And what I want to do is I use the toy aspect of it, because every kid is excited about a toy.
Right.
But what they don't realize is once you come to the event, it's way more than just toys. I have wraparound programs for parents where we talk about health and wellness, education,
Sure.
finance. They'll have a literacy information that they can get their hands on. I'm giving away, through my partner, the Bonner Center, we're giving away a 1-year membership for 4 or 5 parents to work on their health.
Nice. So the Bonner
nutrition-
Center is a health.
Well, the Bonner Center is
community
just a
center, right?
community center, yeah.
Okay,
But
okay.
they specialize with working with low income areas over
Nice.
on 10th Street.
Yeah.
But the toy thing, it's worth talking about if you talk about the issues of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it's worth talking about when you talk about. We talk about parents being on drugs from the stage.
Right.
You know,
Right.
you see these professional athletes, but Robert Mathis, they talk about where they come from.
Right.
You know, barely have food on their table.
Right.
But we put back into the families, if I can do it, if they can do it,
Right.
then you seeing success stories right here that come from where you come from.
Right.
If you're a single parent, you're seeing Tamika Catchings, who's not a single parent, but a female. She still had to work.
Right.
And all
Right.
that she had
Absolutely.
to prove to people that, yo, I'm just as good as the men.
Right.
I had to work hard.
Right.
And so that's what the toy thing is all about. You know, people get caught up, oh man, you got 1,000 kids. I do. I don't ask anybody to give me money. Then, you know, and people see the work that you're doing, and they want to be a part of it.
Right.
But y'all are more than welcome to come down and be a part of it, to volunteer,
for sure.
and then you can see
Absolutely.
for yourself,
Yeah.
because people that I know that really care, those are the ones that I invite to be a part of it, because
Absolutely.
now they understand that there is a purpose, even with what you guys do with this platform.
Right. Right.
This platform is a purpose for people like myself to come on, not just go to the major news outlets,
Right.
Sure.
but there's an audience base that speaks directly to the heart of the people we're talking about.
Absolutely.
That
Yeah.
sometimes that they may not be looking at the news to see. So,
Right.
I know that I went into it too much, but that's my heart, man.
that's good.
I done
They
traveled
don't say
around the
that.
world, but when it comes
That's
back to
important.
being in a position to give back,
Yeah.
Why you think it's so important, not for not only for kids, but just for people in general, to see positive images?
that can never, ever not be important.
Right.
Positive images. But I think a lot of people are visual learners.
Yeah.
And a lot of people grab,
Say that again.
they don't want to, right now we don't want to read.
Right.
So if you can show me a picture and I can kind of figure it out,
Yeah.
then it's easier for me to gravitate to what you're trying to sell me. Hence, when you see clothes on sale, they show you a model, but they show you the clothes with a pretty model.
Right.
And your head, you can wear that.
And it looks just as good.
But think about it. It goes back to what I said. The pretty model is the magnet.
Right.
Yeah.
To get you just look at the clothes. And it's been going on for years. So I just think that now more than ever, man, you look at the world that we live in, we got presidents and politicians glorifying sexual abuse and child pornography, and all because what matters to me.
Right. Right.
And if it matters to me, there are no rules. So
Right.
we have to have a balance.
Right.
Actually, we have to have it tilted 50, 51%, 49% positive.
Right.
Right.
Because
That line has moved
Oh my
over to
God.
the middle and it's going under.
And
Ain't it?
it's really, and it is bad because it's a struggle even in our communities, because we do the same thing. It doesn't affect us until it affects us.
Right.
Sure.
Right. We ain't got nothing to say until
And no matter if you're rich, poor,
Right.
that's why now when you find a person, and it's in the inner city part of it, they see those kids see the same things
Yeah.
every
Right.
single
Every
day.
day, yeah.
Right.
So that image becomes a norm to them.
Right.
So when somebody comes to them and says, "No, don't drink this water," because they don't drink water often, they're going to say, "Nah, because it don't have flavoring and sugar in it, and I need that taste. No, I
Right.
need this water.
Right.
You
Right.
want,
Good
you
stuff,
want
yeah.
that Kool-Aid,
Right. Right.
And so it's confused.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's shifted to a point where everything that our kids see and hear, whether if it's what they hear on the radio.
Right.
At one point, it just used to be what you can see a video. If you had cable and you had BET and MTV, there's a possibility you could see the butt naked girl shaking her butt. Now, all they got to do is pick up their phone everywhere they go.
Yeah.
So
Right.
now it's sexy to be a stripper.
Right. Right.
Nothing against strippers,
Right.
but that's not what I want my kids to aspire to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I think the positive images, man, we got to show them. I mean, and they come in all shapes and colors and forms.
Right.
I'm comfortable in the skin I'm in. So I'm not a suit and tie wearing dude. I used to. I got a closet full of them.
Right.
But I can sit at the table with the president of IBM no different than I can sit at the table with Ray and Pookie from the
Right.
gang on 30th Street.
Right. Right.
That's where there's a disconnect.
Yeah.
So I gotta not only talk it, I gotta be about it.
Yeah,
right,
So
right.
I used to tell people, don't talk about it, be about it, and
Right.
then go tell somebody about it.
How do we get those that array of positive role models to step up? People that we have, like you said, we have quote unquote celebrities, and by the way, I think I would consider you a celebrity before I consider it. I'm just say Beyonce, Jay-Z, whoever, good people.
You ain't gonna lose. You ain't gonna win that fight.
They good people and they
I
do,
appreciate it.
Right. Well, I mean, they're good people and they do for the community, but to me, a celebrity is somebody that's doing what you're doing.
Right, absolutely. I can
That's
see
reaching back and
that.
helping them.
Yeah.
You know, I don't get fanatical or none of that for people, you know, quote unquote famous people. But what is how can we get our people? I'm thinking about like bankers, politicians, you know, all these people that are the images that aren't your normal average images that our young people even get to see, to actually step up and be known, you know, and teach our community and show our young people that we come in, like you said, we come in various professions, and you know, we're doing different things besides radio, TV, and reality shows
In sports.
and sports, right?
So-
How do we get our people to step up, especially when, you know, when we have all these magnets and you know, and magnets to magnets?
Actually, honestly, the easy answer for me, because I deal with it, it's got to be in you. Because you can. There are a lot of people that do it, but they don't really do it.
Same
So if you're a banker, you do it. You write the check,
Right.
but you don't go and spend the money where it needs to be spent. So either service is something that I believe you're born with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People can teach, they can show you, but again, the image. If you're around somebody that you see that person making sacrifices for other people, that's what happens with me with my magnets, my friends that are athletes. You got to keep in mind, a lot of these guys are 23, 24 years old. I'm old enough to be their daddy.
Right.
But the image of me and the trust that they build, I don't need them to make what I'm doing happen.
Right.
I might need them to shine a light on what I'm doing,
Right.
which is what I do.
Right.
So I know the media, if I say Reggie Wayne is coming, they coming.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But Reggie Wayne is going to show up the same day that I have you show up. Because I'm going to do all the work.
Right.
So when Reggie shows up, and it's respect to him, now Reggie, not only does he show up and he sees, wow, look at this. But now I can tell Reggie why this is important, and I don't directly have to talk to him. Right. Because I believe in all of us, we have a tiny little hole in our heart that needs, that's yearning for that empathy, not sympathy.
Right.
Right.
The sympathy is what I look at and refer to as happiness. Everything external.
Right.
Empathy is when I'm on the inside and I can grab a hold of your heart and say, look, without even having to touch you. And so when you have people, and it's so unfortunate, because I went to college for a half a day. But most of the people I talk to think got a master's, PhD, because I can come to whatever level they are,
Right.
but more importantly, I can bring them to my level,
Right.
which is humility.
Right.
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 And so when you have people who feel like I've accomplished and reached a goal, and they wear a suit every day, they don't want to talk to me because I look like, we don't cuss on here, do we?
This is the gray area.
Oh, okay. I'm not gonna cuss, but they look at me as a nigga
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
versus a black person.
Right.
And see, I learned that on Oprah back in the 1980s when she had her show, and it was a Ku Klux Klan. And it happens to us in our own race.
Sure.
It ain't just white people.
Very much so.
So white people think that, well, black people can't be racist. We're not racist towards white people. We're racist towards our own people.
There we are.
So when we reach a plateau in life, we realize, we think, Mama, I made it.
Right.
Because I graduated college. I got a job that pays well. But then, so now, when you grew up in the hood, the only time you go back to the hood is when you're passing it, going back to the suburbs or
Right.
driving downtown to your office. So service is something that is an internal thing. And I'm big on, if it's not something that you really want to do, I don't ask people to do it.
Yeah.
So therefore, I have no expectations of anyone. So when AMP does something, what people don't realize, they see the magnets, they see the glitz and the glamour because all the lights, but they have no idea how much work I put in when the lights aren't on. So then when they get there, everybody's running to the magnet.
Right.
I'm at peace with that because I love me.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
run to the magnet.
Right.
But before the night is over, you're going to get a whole lot of substance.
Right.
Right.
That's what I'm saying,
Absolutely.
for
That the
benefit of
magnet don't
everybody.
necessarily provide.
Right.
Because the magnet really isn't that in tune to it.
Right.
Now, but the more you expose to magnet images to this type of lifestyle,
Yeah.
the sooner it's no different than a job. First day you get hired, I don't really know how to turn this computer on. Second day you get hired, oh, I know how to touch the button on the computer, but I'm too afraid to turn it on. Third day you come back, now you're comfortable to press the button to turn the computer on. Fourth day, now you're comfortable to pull out the keypad and work on the computer. And so the more, again, you give people something, if they want and choose to receive it, you'll see it.
Yeah.
You really don't have to do anything. So I don't know if there is a way to get people to serve like that.
Right.
I believe that if it's in you or it isn't.
Yeah.
You know, Sarah Palin said the greatest president of all time has no idea how to be a president because he's a community organizer. I'll never forget it.
Wow.
When he was running for president,
Who was this?
Barack Obama.
Yeah.
When she called him, and for a while I was like, wow, why would she say? I was,
Right. Why is that important?
Well, to me, the average person didn't get it
Right,
because to me, I didn't understand what she was saying. But as I thought about it, it made perfect
Yeah,
sense.
it does.
To her, she has no idea him being a community organizer
Right.
is the best thing that
Right,
he can
that
do
ever happened.
because
Right.
that's what presidents are supposed to do.
Right.
They are supposed to organize the community
Instead of being out of touch.
Yeah.
instead of being out of
Yeah.
touch. So
Right.
now when I think about it, I'm like, I get it. She would say that because
Right.
she's not a service person.
She's not a
She
service,
is
right.
a corporate box.
Right. Right. Her world is different.
In her world,
different.
but a lot of people's world become different if you allow it because you
Right.
start focusing in on the status.
Right.
Success and all
Right.
that.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you
That's
forget
good.
where you come
That's a good
from.
point.
And so when you deal with people that forget where they come from, who are the first people that they forget about? The people where they come from.
Right.
You forget about somebody you think that's less than you.
Right, right. Is it often that I seen a meme today on Facebook where there's two.
You ain't gonna let it go?
No.
See, I wasn't gonna say.
You know what I'm talking about? A meme. You know what I'm talking about.
No, it's not.
But there was two people standing on each side. On this side, there's a six on the ground. This person standing on this side sees a 6. The person standing on the other side sees a 9. This person saying no, this is a 6. The other person on the other side saying no, this is a 9. When it's the same,
Right.
There's just two different perspectives.
Perception.
And oftentimes, like, we don't feel like coming to the other side and seeing what's going on with that person. That person might be seeing a 6.
Yeah.
But what you need to do is, like, come on with me over here.
Right.
So you can see what I'm seeing. And then I'll go back over there with you and see what you're seeing. And then maybe we can come to a...
But they may not go back to the other side.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't affect you until it affects you.
Right. Right.
So as long as I can get you ready to my 9,
Right.
I really don't care
They
about
don't
what
care
you
about
got
6.
going on over there.
Man, and that's the
the
world we live in
in
today.
right
Most
now.
people have that mentality.
Look at what's going on in Alabama. They don't care about what happened with those kids.
They
Right.
don't.
All they care about, and the man has said it, I need you for this vote. And whatever we got to go through to get you for this vote,
Right.
that's what we're going to do.
Right.
Now tell me how presidential is that when you think about what Sarah Palin said about Barack Obama?
Exactly. It just shows you that the moral compass has left.
Oh, there is no compass.
There's no compass at all. When you can look at somebody, I mean, I'll be talking in circles. Because, I mean, today we have a president where so many things are acceptable that weren't acceptable. And we had the most outstanding president that we've seen in our lifetime.
Socially, yeah.
And he walked out without a blemish. I mean, he walked out without a blemish on his record and still was criticized the entire time. Then you get a guy who has done just about everything that a president shouldn't do.
Right.
Gets put in office, and everything that, it's like the dude, like he said this at a rally, I could shoot somebody in the middle of the street and I'll still have the votes. And they just applauded and that right there, that's scary to me.
Yeah.
See,
Because that tells me that regular people who support this man don't care about what's happening. Like they don't really care. You know, there's no moral compass anymore when it comes to that. They only care about this image of a man that's there. They don't care about what he, you know.
I mean, he
They don't care that he cares about.
Well, he don't represent the majority. What he represents is actually the minority. The 30% that he's been talking to since he's been in office that got him elected. What I debated people, and I don't really do the whole political thing because I think everybody has. If it works for me, then it's wonderful. No one really wants to have a real political dialogue about what really matters
What's
to me.
for real? Yeah.
Right versus wrong. This is not about politics, the old Republican conservative versus the liberal anymore.
Right.
Those talking points are gone.
No donkeys and elephants.
None of that. You can forget all of that.
We got two parties.
Right. What happened from 2008 to the present time right now is white America was so angry that a black man became the president of the free world.
Not one term, but 2 terms.
Well, just go back to the first one.
Yeah.
Because that's where it started.
Right.
The second one, it didn't matter anymore because he was already there. Even if he had lost the second term, they still would be angry because that should never happen. And so now what we're dealing with is we've got a man who went out here and said, you know what? I'm going to play on, because if people know Donald Trump, I spent a lot of time in New York. If you know Donald Trump was a socialite. Russell Simmons was one of his best friends. Donald Trump always wanted to be a celebrity. So he surrounded himself with nothing but celebrity.
Right.
Black, white, purple, green, whatever it was. Now,
Modeling show.
everything, whatever it was that can get him attention. What Donald Trump did was he used to be a Democrat.
Still is.
People don't realize that.
He
Donald
still
Trump was a Democrat. No, Donald Trump is an asshole is what he is right now. He ain't a Democrat or a Republican. He's flat out changed it.
concur with that.
He's just a flat out asshole who doesn't mind because he's so the big thing with him, he's so insecure. And when you're insecure and you want, going back to humility, and you want to be that guy so bad, I'm going to use Malcolm X's term for the negative. You would do by any means necessary to become a winner. Because in reality, he's lost all of his life. That's why everything he's done had to be so big.
About winning.
So he always wanted to be the popular kid.
He got every. Have you ever seen the Donald Trump Hotel?
Yeah.
Always extra large in gold.
Yes.
Right.
People who you've never seen Bill Gates house, car.
That's a good point.
Warren Buffett.
None of them.
So he's overcompensating for something, huh?
He's overcompensating, but you see it. That's why he's so insecure. That's insecurity.
It is.
Right.
What he's doing now
And the fact that he's on Twitter every day is
is insecurity, and he needs validation.
Right.
And so his validation, even against Barack Obama, is to try to torment and destroy everything that man did.
Right.
That's bitterness. That's hatred.
Very much so.
So if I love somebody, or if I'm just trying to do the status quo, right, wrong, or indifferent, what I'm not going to do is try to tear down the very fabric that I was able to live off of. So now, let me go get in bed with whoever will give me a nickel.
Right.
I'll jump in bed with the Russians.
Right.
Because they're the only ones that don't care about Donald Trump.
Right.
They just need to figure out a way to beat the Americans.
Right.
And if we got a spy,
Right.
we
That's
will
what they
pay
see.
him.
Right.
Yeah, and by any means necessary, he needs money.
Yeah. Right.
Because in reality, people that know Donald Trump, all that stuff is borrowed.
Right.
And it's a loan.
Right.
He
still on
owns
credit.
nothing.
He's still working on credit.
So, the whole political form of where we are now, man, it's so funny because when I talk to my friends and pastors, it is a direct correlation of what is going on today in the inner city.
Wasn't it
What do you mean by
necessary?
that, though? But, hold on. What do you mean by that, though?
The inner city, we all try to find a quick way out. Which is half the problem with our young kids. especially as this new, and that's what I call millennials. People call me I'm crazy, but have you ever met a millennial that, and they'll probably attack me, but it's all good because I can do this with them all day because I did the work. But have you ever had a millennial outside of graduating college, got a job, or I'll even get some a career? But the majority of them feel like because they've done those things, they got all the answers.
Right.
So when you talk to them, now you don't know what you're talking about, Amp, because this done passed you by.
Right.
Well, what's passed me by? Because what they don't understand in life, it's a circle.
Right.
And it all comes back to the same old thing. Ain't nothing new under the sun.
Right.
So when you look at political people and you look at the inner city, we have people in the inner city that want to take a shortcut. We want the government to give us something, but we don't even want to take 5 minutes to go vote.
Right. Right.
So now in the government, Donald Trump don't want you to work for it. He just wants you to align yourself with him, and he'll give it to you. You ain't got to do nothing. Look at the man in Alabama. I don't care what you did to the girl.
I just want you to be on my side.
Be on my side and pass this vote.
He don't care nothing about that Roy dude.
Don't care less. So the struggle when I look at politicians and I look at the hood, we got people in the hood that don't want to be there. But they don't know how to get out.
Right.
We got people in politics that got in and know they need to get out, but they'll go along with whatever it is it takes to get there. So now translate that back to the hood. I'm going to be a drug dealer. I know it's bad, but that may be what will get me out.
That's all I know.
It ain't that's all they know, Ray.
Right.
That's the quickest route
Right.
in their minds.
Yeah.
They don't want to come and do what you and Pat did with the gray area. Come in here and get the floors built and put the microphones together and build this all the way out and wait the process.
Right.
They want to just put it in the microwave 32 seconds.
And it'll be ready.
You're done.
Right.
But then when 32 seconds it's not done, they have no idea what else to do.
Right.
Right. Right.
Because they've never been taught anything.
That kind of goes into a question I have for you in regards to, and this is for our people, black folks, because you have people who want to do something. Like I've talked to at least 200 people this year that wanted to do what we were doing. I probably am still in conversation with maybe 10 of them. Because once they start figuring out what it takes and what they have to do, and the work that goes into it,
A lot of sweat equity, man.
they back down.
Well, process is a dangerous word.
It is.
I tell that to my Hollywood people, rich people.
This.
Process is a dangerous word.
Absolutely.
Because even, again, when I talk about my magnets, kids see them on Sunday. They see them on Monday, Tuesday in the NBA.
Right.
They have no idea
Right.
what these guys and girls had to go through
Right.
to get there.
Right. See Steph Curry shooting that three from back. I don't know how many shots he put
When I
up.
go to Lifetime Fitness Center, you see, every kid in there, step back, shoot it.
Right.
Bruh, that ain't gonna get it.
Ain't the game.
No, sir. You gotta lift weights. You gotta be able to. There's a lot Steph Curry did that they don't, and that's where I'm saying we live in a world now that most people don't want to go through the process.
Right. Right.
They don't want to. Once they get there, they feel like, okay, I'm good. Mama, I made it.
Right.
They don't want. They don't understand. Now you have a responsibility.
right.
Going back to my magnets.
Right.
Yeah.
You have a responsibility to. You don't have to be a everyday role model, but you have a responsibility to go back to where you came from. Don't even have to be in your same neighborhood,
Right.
because most of them they get transferred to a whole nother state and you become a pro.
Right.
Find something in that area that you can grab a hold of,
Right.
and just instill hope.
Right.
That's all our kids. When I talk to young brothers and
Yeah.
sisters, man, I'm speaking to some on Saturday, 150 of them. They all just want hope.
Right.
They want to be able to. They want to be there and sit and know that there is, and that's not all.
Somebody believes in
That's it.
Right.
That's all we need.
Yeah.
Whether if you're a child or an adult.
Right.
Because if you hit a space as an adult in your heart, you need somebody to talk to.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't know how to communicate effectively, That's where it's really hard.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think today we don't know how to talk to each other anymore.
Right. The one thing that we were talking about Trump, and the one thing that came to my mind was that it was necessary for him to be in office, because now we're having a conversation, and people are having more conversations about what's right from wrong and what not to be like. So you get a phenomenal, who I thought was a phenomenal guy in office.
We didn't need
It doesn't mean that he was the best guy.
We didn't need Donald Trump for
No. I'll explain why. Because the conversations that we're having today, we almost needed someone, because you look at Obama's career and what he's done, and you're going to look at this 4 years from now, you're going to say, okay, we messed up.
But are we really
That's not what we wanted.
conversations?
Yeah, I think so.
No, I think
that we're having a lot of conversations. They may be sugar-coated, but I think there are a lot of more conversations happening
This is a
because he's in
conversation.
office. Right.
when you watch CNN, you hear debates to get people to watch this TV show.
Right.
Now, here is the reality of what you're... And the reason I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But go back to CNN when Donald Trump was running.
Okay.
Tell me what's the difference now versus then. Here's the difference. They didn't think Donald Trump was going to win.
Right.
They thought Donald Trump was great for ratings for them.
Right.
So they let all of those pundits that came on there that they knew was telling nothing but lies. All of those Donald Trump, we love him, they were making up stuff. They knew it was made up.
Okay.
But it kept us watching.
Right.
Go to Fox News.
Right.
They don't debate. They just tell you their narrative on their side.
Right.
Go to MSNBC. They debate, but they tell you the narrative on the Democratic side.
Right.
So when I say conversations,
Right.
the only time there's a conversation is when somebody on social media does something, and now you can go research it, and now you can say, aha, I caught you. Now it's, you got to prove yourself. Look at the world now. How many guys, all of a sudden, careers are being taken away?
Okay.
That's being talked about.
Right.
What Donald Trump did, because now women are being able to tell their truths
Right.
about being sexually
But
harassed.
this is what I'm saying. The reason that he, like, him being in office to me,
He just turned the light up brighter.
Exactly.
But that's not the conversation.
But here's the thing. I'm seeing every day, personally, black folks, all kinds of people, amping up, getting more community involved, getting out there trying to be something, getting educated, doing all these things because they realize that, look, at the end of the day, ain't nobody gonna save you. Now, we still got a lot of people out there that's struggling to get that through their thick skulls, but to me, and why the gray area is here, was because I seen that in real life. And I said, there is no media representing us. We used to have conversations all the time.
That's my point
All the
there.
time.
Listen to what you just said. So, with what the gray area does compared to CNN, this is talking to a pocket of people that already are pretty much embraced
Yeah, man,
with what's going on.
Yeah, for sure.
When I'm talking about conversation, that means something is being done. Right now, Donald Trump should be impeached.
Right, absolutely.
So if the conversation is really happening, then that means that you have people, even on the Republican side, that know what he's done is unethical. It's not part of the Constitution. It truly has zero to do with being the president of the free world of the United States of America. Because how do you become the president and you are accused of sexual harassment? They have a video of you saying we grab them by the vagina and it's acceptable. So the conversation is not being had where we're trying to get to solutions. The conversation is just being had amongst the people.
Absolutely.
When you start talking about politics and you don't believe in my politics, nobody is saying, oh, you know what, you're right. Yeah, I got your point. No, those people are going to stay on task, on topic, no matter what you say. That's not a conversation to me. The conversation to me is this. Ray, your lettering on your shirt is purple. No, it ain't, Amp. It's gold. Oh, you know what? It is gold. You're right. My bad. I apologize.
You're trying to find a solution with the...
What you have now, bro, is you have people... Again, CNN. I was so angry at CNN.
But see, I don't consider those conversations.
But here's why I say that. Because you have to. because that's where people get their information from.
That's for
And it
sure.
controls the
And that's for
thinking
sure.
of
And
the
it controls the
population.
narrative.
Right.
So go back to when Donald Trump was when he first was running for office.
Okay.
CNN controlled the narrative
Right.
because they allowed somebody who was a pundit for Donald Trump that they knew was telling a lie to keep coming back.
Right, absolutely.
Instead, now what they want to do is do that.
Right.
Now, and I love Don Lemon for what the stance he's taking now.
Right.
Because now they're saying, nope, that you're a lie.
Right,
Nope, if
absolutely.
you're going to come on this show
Absolutely.
and say that, we're going to go to commercial break.
But wasn't that them just being non-biased by allowing someone to have their own opinion? Now they're saying, look, no, you're not going to sit up here and lie.
No, that what that
But I'm
was
saying
was
before that, but they were trying to be,
Where they just trying to make mockery.
but everybody
They
wasn't
were
playing
trying to
by
make
those
mockery.
rules.
They were trying to get us to keep watching.
Mm-hmm.
They were trying to sell ratings.
Because it's good to have an opposing view.
Well, there really wasn't an opposing view. What sells faster? Positive images or negative?
Negative. All day.
So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to specialize in negativity.
Right.
Fox Network,
Oh, yes, they do.
all they do is tell lies
Yeah.
for the people that are watching, and their base never
A lot of
leaves.
satire.
They never leave. And I'm a big Bill Maher fan. And Bill Maher said, Democrats, if y'all don't stop fighting, bringing a knife to a gunfight, you're never going to win.
Right.
Because the Republicans don't just bring guns to a gun, they bring bazookas, cannons, whatever it takes to win. And that's why the world is the way it is now. Now they're playing so dirty. Think about it. We got Democrats up. You got accused of sexual harassment. The next day, I resign.
Right. Right.
I mean, people, you got a boy in Alabama right now.
Right.
That's where
They not
people
resigning.
Do you see my point? So where's the communicate? There is no. It's. We're going to communicate, and we're going to communicate our points.
Right.
Whether if you take them or not. And again, no matter what area, no matter what level you on, that's the world we live in. It doesn't affect me until it affects me.
Right. Right.
And the moment it starts to affect, Donald Trump has the lowest ratings of any president
Of all
in
time.
history.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
These are impeachable numbers.
Right.
They ain't going to impeach. They know the man got money from Russia.
But okay, you're a Christian, right?
Some days.
Okay. but you're a believer in what the Bible speaks.
Ain't no doubt about it.
Okay. So this is why, and I'm a believer in the Bible too, and this is why I think that it was necessary for Trump to be in office, is because that's what it took to wake a lot of people up, the sleeping giant, like America woke up when Hawaii got hit, that sleeping giant type of thing, because I think a lot of people were sleeping and ranking on the Democrats to help them.
So why didn't
Democrats ain't that great either.
So why didn't they wake up when they saw Rosa Parks? Why didn't they wake up when they saw Martin Luther King? Why
Because
didn't
they were still being fed the same old
So
songs.
what do you think is being that they're feeding them differently now?
No. I'm speaking from a spiritual perspective.
I'm speaking from
because
a spiritual perspective.
We can't if we talk about physical and
No. I'm
living.
speaking spiritually.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, spiritually or not, again, it comes back rather. When we start, and I don't really do these conversations publicly too often, so let me say that part. But when we start talking spirits, that's really difficult to do because you can't see it, and most people operate again.
Right. A lot of people. Most people are realists, and they don't. Yeah.
Spirituality. The people that are upset now, let's talk about spiritual evangelicals.
Okay.
Pretty much are the same people you're talking about right now. White, black, purple, it don't matter, right?
There's different types of evangelicals.
But don't
or
they
people
believe
who
in
are,
the same God that we believe in?
No, they
No?
can't. No.
See, that's where you're wrong. Yes, they do. The problem is when you talk about spirit, physical becomes the main priority in today's world. So spirituality, there is no spirituality in these same people, whether they're a black Republican or a black Democrat. Because in my eye, just because you're a Democrat don't make you any better than a Republican.
Heck no.
See, my definition of spirituality is different because I look at people believing in their own religions. That's what I think. I think
I don't do
spirituality.
religious. I don't do religion.
I don't either, but that's what I'm saying. When I'm speaking spiritually, I'm spiritually for me is your soul intertwined with the Lord, with the Bible, with the universe. That's different to me because when you are in alignment with that, then you can't do you don't look at it the same. There's people who take their religion and they sugarcoat it, like a lot of the evangelicals that are so-called Christians that support Trump and all this. That's different to me. You have just taken this religion and made it for you.
Why is that different?
It's different because people have decided to believe in something and then attach themselves to a religion.
So you don't think black people do that on the other?
No, I'm not saying black people don't do that. I'm just saying that that's what they're using. That's what a lot of these people are using today, which is why when I speak spiritually, I'm saying, look, we're in alignment, right? Understand that, like I read the Bible. I understand the Bible. There's things in the Bible that say the Revelation, 400 years with slavery coming out, God is going to, people, yada, yada, yada. So for me, when I'm speaking spiritually, I'm in alignment with that course. I'm not in alignment with this religion. Like, if someone is talking, they believe in religion, they're a Christian, and they're this and that, but they don't align themselves with the good, and then they're aligning themselves with people like Trump or the bad. To me, that's not Christian. That's not Christianity. You're making your religion that.
Well, when you say religion and Christianity, that's where you have a train wreck, in my opinion. Because I tell people this, and this is the simplest way I can put it. One, as a Christian, my relationship with God has nothing to do with you. This is why I say I don't really talk about it. I'll let people know what I believe in, because I'm not afraid to let anybody know everything that I do is because of the high and mighty.
Okay.
All honor goes to God in my life. So when we start talking about politics,
right,
the two never are supposed to intertwine.
Exactly. So people attach themselves.
But you're saying that people are attaching.
I'm saying that people are using that
politics,
right?
Then that's a separation, though. In my opinion, faith and spirituality are two totally different things.
That's what I'm saying. They're never supposed to intertwine.
But I see how you can attach faith with politics because it's not spirituality, because it's a system.
You're attaching it as a religion.
You're attaching two systems.
Right. That's where you use the word religion.
Right.
That's where you lose me. I draw a line in the sand because I don't do religion. Religion, Religion can be anything. You can be attached to any form of religion if it benefits you.
Right.
That's what religious people do.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you start talking about people in the White House, however your walk is with whatever it is that you believe in as a higher power.
Right.
I don't challenge people on that.
Right.
Because I don't want everybody praying for me.
That's right.
That's true.
I don't care if you walk around with your "What Would Jesus Do" bracelet on and a big cross around your neck and a big Bible. Because not everybody has the same intentions.
Right.
So the moment it became sexy for Republicans, I go back to 2008 to start bringing Barack Obama and his faith into the picture.
Right.
Yeah, it's always been part of their talking points on the conservative side.
Right.
But it became a sexy conversation to dismantle his beliefs.
Right.
So when you talk about what we're doing in politics today, that's why I tell people to this very day, I don't do politics.
Right.
My friends are athletes and entertainers.
Right.
I know politicians, but one thing I know about all of them, they have one thing in common.
What's that?
They lie.
Yeah.
Every last one of them. Those that are religious, those that are not religious, those that are Christians, those that are not Christians. Because
part of the job.
It's part of the job.
Yeah.
So the reason I counter what you're saying is because not these people and it's obvious, cannot believe in, and not all of us are perfect. We all fall short. But they cannot believe in the same thing that I believe in. Because I live a life like this, Ray. There's a cross. Up, down, and then there's one that goes sideways. I go right, wrong, good, bad, heaven, hell.
Okay.
I don't go this way.
Right.
Because when you go that way, that can just keep going around in a circle.
Okay.
When you go up and down, you got to stop.
Right.
One way or the other. So people who can do that, I don't rock with them like that.
Absolutely.
So most of my relationships, and I tell Pat this all the time, is spirit-led.
Okay.
I deal with people based on it. I don't care about what your tax bracket is, what your education is. I could care less about that because I look at a person based on what you do,
Right.
and how you do it.
Right.
I don't judge you if you're a drug dealer. You could be a drug dealer. That's your form of work. It's illegal, but as long as you don't carry yourself where you walking around and killing people with guns and all that, I know people are going to say, but it's a drug and you should not.
Yeah.
But everybody takes drugs.
Right.
Whether if it's a psychological drug, whether if it's a liquid drug,
Right.
Everybody takes a drug.
Right.
Women that are addicted to men, that's a drug.
Right.
Men that are addicted to women, that's a drug. It's all a chemical imbalance.
Yeah, but I think the argument there, though, would be if you're looking at it from the byproduct of illegal drugs,
But
except weed.
But who determines it to be illegal? The very same people that's putting it in your neighborhoods.
So I guess I wouldn't even say illegal. I guess I would just say certain drugs, like opiates, and I know those can be prescription pills as well. And I know the pharmacology, there's such thing as pharmacology.
Heroin is just about every drug that they make.
Right, and it's out, and Ritalin, and there's a lot of other pills that are equivalent to,
you know why it's a bad drug? Because black people make money off of it.
Yeah, but I'm looking at as far as being a product from a household, with a substance abuser. I'm looking at how,
it's bad. I
know weed is bad.
Not even weed. Every aspect of it.
Right, but at the same time, though, it doesn't break up households. So I'm looking at
what doesn't break up households?
Weed. Come on now, not at the rate that crack or heroin or anything else.
I didn't know where you were going.
Yeah, no. So what I'm saying is, I know that selling dope can be equivalent to selling Oxycontin, but at the same time, I'm looking at the magnitude of what the dope and everything that comes with the dope game. From they may not be killing nobody, but at the same rate, the dope game does have you gotta kill, you gotta murder.
So who's worse, the drug dealer on 30th in College or Bernie Madoff?
I think they're both the same.
Not the same, because you got one
Madoff is off so many people
who is a trained professional to protect people's money. You can't see that drug deal going down.
Corporate, he's a corporate thug.
I would rather deal with the street dude than the corporate thug. Because look at corporate America right now. Look at Wall Street right now. They are taking from people who've worked hard all of their lives.
Yeah.
You trust them. You know what you're getting into when you deal with a drug dealer. That's my point.
But Wall Street is a gamble too now, though.
No, Wall Street is beyond a gamble.
Yeah.
Wall Street is highway robbery, but you can't do nothing about it. Because the FCC and the government put so many red tapes around it, you can't fight it.
Right.
You know that Bernie Madoff took your money. $50 billion.
But whose money did he take? Did he take our money?
He took everybody's money.
I'm still trying to figure out how $1 trillion
Everybody
came up missing off the stock market. Like the next day, they was just like
everybody.
$1 trillion is gone.
You think that's the only time that's ever happened?
No,
that's my point. It's now being brought to the forefront so people can see it. But my point is, at the end of the day, you have politicians now that are worse than drug dealers. Because at least a drug dealer, I know
Exactly
what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
With these people, they put on suits. They look a certain way. They walk in. They say all the right things to you.
Consider safe places.
They walk in your house and they tell you, oh, it's going to be beautiful. As soon as they get in their car, man, to hell with that lady. Next to the next stop, please. Because now they just need you. And not all of them. There are some great people that are in public office. But right now, the way that politics is on both sides, I tell people this about Barack Obama. He is going to do his greatest work
Outside.
now than he ever could then.
Yep.
The reason I say that is because he's got more resources now that he didn't have when he was in Chicago walking up and down the street. And because he's a service guy to his heart, he now can go get all the money he wants without any question to touch whoever he wants to touch. When he was in office, they knew that he was trying to do the best he could. He's a service guy. Where you have Ronald Reagan was an actor. Where you have George W. Bush was a business oil tycoon. Where you have Bill Clinton, who comes from money, even though he comes from Arkansas.
Oh man,
but at the end of the day, they were all trained to do this. What Barack Obama was trained with was something that was put in him that spiritually, that's what this fight was. Well, no, this goes back to the spirit part. They couldn't see why he would smile so much. They done everything they could. They talked about his mama. They talked about his kids. They talked about his wife. They talked about his manhood. And all he did was got up there and smile. It's going to be okay. When that's a spirit, Ray, that you know his conviction.
Absolutely.
And then when you see him go in South Carolina and go to that funeral. And he starts to be himself on his way out. Bro, that's where you know, you know what? This dude couldn't do everything he wanted to, but he was able to do just enough with the fight that he had to deal with. These people now, they want to undo everything he did.
Not realizing that his walk out of office, this whole year of things that have been going great, was because of him. And now they're unraveling all of it.
But here's the crazy part. Now they all say the same thing, right? We care about middle class and low income families. But what y'all getting ready to do is destroy those families.
Horrible lie.
And Donald Trump has every redneck in trailer parks believing that he rocks with them.
24% of America put 24% out of 100% of people in America, 24% put him in office. That tells you how many people, one, didn't vote, and that tells you, two, how many people, supported him and put him in. 75% of America, what was we at? Well, 23% voted. Obviously, they lost. The other 50%.
Well, the 75% did what CNN did. They thought
that it was only a victory.
It was just going to be a victory, no matter. And in reality, it was. She got 3 million more votes than he did. But the way that we do the electoral college, the popularity vote don't mean nothing. So, the long and short of it is, we still, going back to what I stated earlier about in the hood. We still have to go out and do the work. If it's meant for you to have, it'll be here.
It'll be there.
So I live a lifestyle where I'm at peace with me. I can come here to the gray area and y'all can become the next CNN, Ted Turner, TNT.
Absolutely.
I'm at peace with that.
For sure.
I don't need to be, because I'm a firm believer as a Christian. The Bible tells you what is meant for you will be for you. No one can take that from you. So all the things that I do, I can sit on here and have this dialogue with y'all and we can just throw stuff up against the wall and see what sticks. But with everything that I'm saying to you, I say every day. I go to, no matter, because I'm not governed like politicians.
Absolutely.
Which is why I would tell them, my friends are athletes and entertainers. I don't do politics. Because unless you can show me that you really are getting ready to come into the areas of where I come from and what matters to me. People call me, I have friends that call me a freedom fighter. You know, because I'm going to go for the underdog.
Right, absolutely.
Because that's me. Because I know a lot of these same people that I deal with.
Right.
Why they choose AMP? Well, why is AMP with them people? And why didn't AMP? Because this wasn't meant for you.
Right. Right.
Whatever it is that you do and how you do it, that's meant for you.
Absolutely.
And I'm a pessimistic, optimistic person.
Absolutely.
But they say you can't be like that, bro.
How does that work?
It works very well. Have you ever walked down an alley and you just went on your way and King came running out at you and scare you to death? And then the next time you go down an alley, what you gonna do?
Why you bark like that though?
Because that's how King do. What you gonna do?
Be a little pessimistic.
You gonna look. Is King around that corner?
Right.
So we all are that.
Right.
Being a Christian doesn't mean in reality that things are going to be always look good.
Yeah, right.
That's when God doesn't.
It's a hard walk.
It's the hardest walk
Right.
to ever endure because you're always being challenged.
Absolutely.
It's a beautiful struggle.
You always got to try to make the right decision.
And that's why I live my life right, wrong, good, bad,
Absolutely.
heaven, hell. Because my goal, my moral compass was that right?
Right.
We all know.
Yeah.
Like all of them people, that girl who comes on the press room for Donald Trump every day, she's 35, she looks like she's 85 because she's stressing herself out to lie to this man every
I
single
know she go
day.
home and it just kills her.
Well, now she done bought into it.
Right.
So now
Because she's surrounded by everybody that's giving her the right.
the job is more important.
Right.
The career is more important.
And they've had, she's the fourth person?
Hey, bruh, some of them just get to a point where they're like, I can't live with myself. That's when you know you're self-conflicted.
Right.
When you can look at yourself and say, this is not good for me. My family is being stressed out. My kids don't like it. My family members. Because all we want to do in life is be able to live a prosperous life and provide for our families.
Right.
In the moment, that's it. In the moment where I don't want to be happy, Pat, I want joy. There's a big difference. My life is full of joy.
Right.
What I say to you, Pat? And you laugh at me every time. What's up, big bro? Nothing, man. Life is good.
Absolutely.
I live through life every day. That's my mission statement.
Right.
And can't nobody take that away.
Right.
Even in my dark days.
When did you get that?
When I watched my stepfather shoot my brother in the head.
Wow. And how did you get that out of that?
It's like a cancer. Things like that either eat you or you eat it. And so that's why I said my mother's the strongest person that I know.
Right.
Because even in the midst of that, I was raised in a church. Even in the midst of that, didn't go to church every Sunday, but I was born there. But even in the midst of that, she said to me, my Bible says you don't do an eye for an eye. Now my world says, you're right, you kill him.
Right.
Or he got to go to jail.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And she didn't press charges. How about that?
Wow.
That'll make you step back, huh?
The state did, but she didn't.
There was nothing they could do about it because she was a witness and I was a witness.
Oh, wow.
So this man is still walking.
So he's passed on.
Okay.
But
Wow.
the fact of the matter is, that's where you grow from.
Absolutely.
So when I talk to people, I'm not talking to you based on your worldly views.
For
I'm
sure.
talking to you on, I know what I went through in life.
Right. Right.
You know, I know that I was a person who were born with epileptic seizures, and I died. And they brought me, resuscitated me, back real life, back to life. And I've been seizure free for 30 years.
Wow.
Wow.
Don't nobody know how.
Right.
So when you talk about spiritual, it's
Right.
hard for me to have. But if that's what you believe, that's how you live, bro.
Right.
Have at it. But
Right.
I know, I've seen it. You know, I've seen death and I've lived it.
Right.
So at the end of the day, when people my walk, and it wasn't always like this because I didn't like my mother for years, bro. I couldn't stand because me and my brother were like this. He was older than me.
Right.
I couldn't stand this boy. He was crazy as hell. Fought the police, he was a real gangster. Lincoln door, the Lincoln kissing door, Lincoln, the whole thing, big hats. He was a pimp.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't care. He would sawed off shotguns, the whole nine, bro.
Right.
But one thing about him, if it was right, it was right, and if it was wrong, he didn't care who you was.
Right.
If he saw you hitting E down the street, he gonna come and get you.
Right.
Because you don't do that.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
I learned that, even though it was a hard lesson, but then the reality of how did I become, where does this spirit or this personality comes from, there are life lessons.
Right.
And wisdom is the most important thing in life over
Absolutely.
any paper graded education.
Right.
I don't care. Life lessons will teach you life.
Right.
Yeah.
Books will show you how to deal with, how you read and understand certain things.
Yeah.
Right.
But they're not going to tell you how to deal with circumstances that you can't foresee.
Right.
There's no manual, man, for life.
No.
No.
Yeah.
So what I went through, there was no manual. I didn't go to a therapist. Therapist said he thought that people like me would go crazy. But when you have a image to look at, and that image doesn't go crazy, and if I call my mama right now, she gonna answer the phone. Praise the Lord. She about that life. And so when they talk about spirituality, we in my family, I used to not even discuss this. I would not do this publicly.
Right. Right.
But then over the last probably 2 years, I had to release myself.
Right.
Because people would say, "Well, what makes you like this?" I would never tell them.
We talked about
Something.
stuff before.
Yeah.
But I have
we
to
appreciate your transparency, man.
Yeah.
Because this is.
Well, I don't know how. I don't know no other way because I live a stress-free life.
Absolutely,
Right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I tell Pat this. People laugh at me when I tell them this, but if I was walking down the street and the guy shot me, I wouldn't be concerned about the gunshot. I would be concerned that
Like why you do it, yeah.
what was that person going through to make them get to that point.
That's me. Now, I still have my brother in me. Now I might react a little bit, but then I'm gonna catch myself because that's just a normal.
Yeah.
That's normal.
Right.
You know, even in a competitive basketball game, you know, you do that.
Right.
That's human. The spiritual side kicks in when you can say to yourself, is what you did right or wrong?
Right.
And you can be your own judge and jury.
Even when somebody did
I mean,
you
that's what it
wrong.
boils down to, right? I mean, it boils down to right and wrong. Like me personally, like one of my close friends, he's a Muslim, but the things that he has gone through in life, he said Islam completely changed his entire way of thinking because he grew up with drugs and killers and things like that. But when he found Islam, man, it completely changed his whole mindset. So it tells me, like, it gets back to right and wrong. Like, I mean, I can't look down on him, because of what he believes in.
Right.
So I used to kind of like put it out there, like, like even before we played basketball, I used to like read my Bible and stuff in the gym, and I really need to start getting back to like reading, just for me. But I kind of digressed from doing that because I started to look at different people and how they view their spirituality, and I just didn't like being, like having those debates with people because like we all have our own walk, we all have our own journey, and it's either one place or the other, in my.
If you believe in one place or the other.
Yeah,
It's whatever works for you.
But now spirituality is being tested, and I don't know if that's what
I was ready to say, because we are a spiritual people, and we've been duped over the years because of that. So, because I feel like black folks have and not that there's not people out there of other races that don't have a moral compass, but I think that spiritual moral compass is deep within us.
I think it's innate. You're born with it.
And I think that, we could have easily taken over this country. Easily. And then I say that, even with 13% of us, why are we the most feared? Why are we the most challenged? Why don't we seem to get the same equality? There's something about us that is important to this country, but
To this world.
to the world.
Yeah.
But we don't know that. All we know is who we are spiritually and where we came from. So we try and fight for that, and we try to be reasonable, and we try to be forgiving. Why is that?
That's a tough one for me because I look at us as a race. Again, first and foremost, we got to learn to be able to deal with each other.
Yeah.
So we can't take over anything individually.
Right.
And if we can't sit in the room because we become crabs in a bucket. And so we've been programmed by Mr. Charlie to believe that you are nothing without me.
Yes.
And so when you go back to slavery days,
Right.
and some of us still live mentally that way in our own communities.
Yeah.
Right.
Again, when you have people that come from a certain community and they get out of that community but they don't want to go back, Ray, that would never ever happen. Because the goal is to, Jewish people do it all the time.
They sure do.
Asian people do it all the time.
Right.
When they get something, they go get their people. Latino people do it when
Right.
they come to your
All
house.
the time.
Right.
They may have a little Ford Taurus, but 13 of them getting out their car to work
Right.
on your house. And then they taking their money back to their house.
Right.
We don't do that. We go wait in line at the Foot Locker and Finish Line when the Jordans come out and spend all of our money. And then our kids don't have proper school books.
Right.
So we're now chasing we're chasing a fantasy
Okay.
that we can never ever grab a hold of because it's not tangible.
Do you think-
Our whole goal is
I get them.
in the black community. Our whole goal is images.
Right.
We want to be the flyest no matter where we go.
Right.
That's why I said with me, when I became to a point where I love me. See, we need to teach classes on loving yourself first.
Right.
And they say it on the airplane. If you're traveling with a child, if this plane starts to go down, buckle yourself in first, then tend to your child.
Right.
Right.
We don't do that. And
Right.
I'm not using the child as
Sure,
an example.
sure.
I'm just using that as a metaphor to say, at the end of the day, if we don't reinvest back into us,
Right.
it doesn't have to be financial. It could be spiritual.
Right.
It could be emotional.
Right.
It could be with hope. Then there is no way we can fight the enemy.
That's what I was gonna say. Are we fighting the same battle? Because
it
we're
depends
fighting it from a spirit. See, and this is a conversation that we've had on the gray area multiple times, even with our church families that came in and talked to us. And the challenge has always been: is the church feeding a dialogue and mental that keeps people from acting,
It's always
from
done that.
going out and
the church.
is not all churches. I'm speaking in general. Over time, the church, we're a spiritual people. We thrive on it. We go to church, we feel good, we amped up.
Not
Yes,
everybody.
I know.
Some people go
But
to
I'm
church
saying this is
don't
what
have not one
exactly
spirit in them.
Exactly. And what do you think it is about the churches that people can go and get dressed up?
It's an image.
Love it, and then leave and not act on helping other people or being what they just got blessed with at
Just want to be
church.
seen.
It's, we go for the entertainment. Has the church had a part in pushing that agenda? Not directly, but not preaching action enough. Where you leave here, you go out and you tell somebody. You leave here, you go out and you get in the community and you do the work. Are we in such a cycle that we don't even realize that we going to church for the music or going for the entertainment or going just to praise, and then we go home and we're not doing nothing that we're supposed to be, we're supposed
But
to be
again,
doing.
this goes back to your point earlier about spirituality and
Religion,
politics.
right.
Well, just spirituality and politics, it's the same song and dance. The church hasn't changed in terms of what the messaging is. What has changed in our community are the parents
Okay.
have changed.
Okay.
So my mother grew up in church.
Right.
Then the generation after her stayed in church. This generation now feels like they became successful with their own boots and their own straps. That's the
So you saying
process.
the parents
words.
failed? The parents failed in the.
Well, I ain't gonna say the parents failed. I just think that what became more important to people,
Okay.
not just parents, because when you're old enough to go to church, you pick and choose your own. I tell people this all the time. There's only 1.5 persons that I can control in this world. The whole is me. The half is my daughter, and she's 13.
Okay.
Once she gets 18, I gotta hope that I instilled in her
Right.
that when she's old enough, she continues that tradition of church and family,
Right.
not family and church.
Right.
So I believe, and I was raised, it was faith, family, then whatever else you want to do.
Right.
Now it's Air Jordans,
Right.
Benz, Bentley, Beamer,
Family, then faith.
not even there, we ain't got that yet. Gold chains,
Right. Right.
fake booties,
Women,
Right.
yeah, I was just about to say.
Instagram models,
Facebook
all of that
models,
stuff
Right.
has now superseded
Right.
what matters. And then you take it a step further where the church is being attacked.
Okay.
And again, go back to what I said about 2008. Politicians on the conservative side have always spoken about church and values.
Okay.
Whether if it had to deal with abortion rights,
Okay.
marriage, marriage inequality. Not until 2008, when Barack Hussein Obama became the president, that it became now
Yeah.
a target
Right.
to go after the church.
Right.
And how do you do it at the highest level? You attack the black man who's the president of the United
Right.
States.
For what he
So
believes
now you find everything you can, and you put dog whistles out, and you say things like, well, I think he's a Muslim. Not that there's anything wrong with being Muslim,
Right.
but he ain't a Christian,
Right.
because in America, it's
Right.
all about Christianity.
Right.
Muslims are being seen as what? Terrorists, killers.
Right. Right.
So you attack him by saying he's a Muslim.
Right.
Then you attack him and say, well, he can't be a real Christian because a real Christian wouldn't do ABC.
Right.
And even when he was a Christian in the very beginning, who was
He's never stopped. He never stopped being a Christian.
Well, what I'm saying was when it was when he was associated with Jeremiah Wright,
Yeah.
and they accepted him as a Christian in the beginning.
He hadn't crossed over yet.
He was, well, what I'm saying is he was accepted as a Christian in the beginning before he was associated with Jeremiah Wright. Then it became a problem, and then he was also a Muslim shortly after that.
Well, he became, all that happened when he got sworn in.
Right.
Jeremiah Wright didn't become a problem until he got sworn in.
Right.
Right.
That's my point. And what did they do? They went and attacked Jeremiah Wright to associate him.
Right.
And that's what we do in the world today.
Right.
The image of what I want it to be is the narrative that I can make it. All I got to do is say it enough.
Right.
And 99% of the people going to believe it.
Right.
Think about it. We just had the biggest, what I call hoodwink, bamboozle exercise in social media history. Where I don't know if the young fella got bullied to the extent that he got bullied. But what I do know is, how ironic is it that he grew up in a bullying home?
Right.
And now we are so sympathetic to the little kid. But then nobody said nothing about the little black girl who hung herself who was 10 and
10
got
years
bullied.
old.
I saw that post the other.
But you see how our minds are easily swayed. And I fall victim
But
to
I
it
think,
too.
and I think that goes back to Ray's point as far as how we are kind of being lulled to sleep by being passive,
Sympathetic and spiritual.
and we've been taught to be like that since
Right.
slavery because
To
that's
Ray's
how
point,
we were
that's who we
okay.
are. We're the most forgiving race in the world.
Were we? Have we always been though?
Well, up until
Have we always been though?
well, that was years ago, but
I think
we fought
Because
ourselves
even
out of that.
Jesus said, "I came with a sword dripping with
I
blood."
did. He did.
So-
But at the end of the day, the way that we are as a race,
Right.
we are still the most, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with having
I mean, this
sympathy
world
and
needs
empathy.
compassion, man.
Yes, and
We
that's
need to
what
be soldiers too at the same
well, we
time.
need to be soldiers, but we also need to hold ourselves accountable at the same time.
Right, right.
So we can always point the finger at what they did.
Yeah.
Right. We need to look at
Oh, yeah.
ourselves.
But until this goes back to what we could do,
Right.
we could do a lot of stuff.
Right.
But you can't get DMX and Bobby Brown to tour together. So, you know what I mean? Because it's about who is the most important person in the room.
Right, right.
That's what Jews don't do.
Right.
They don't sit and worry about that. You got your $2? I got my $2.
Just put it
Let's put it
together.
together.
Put it together.
Make it work.
Right.
Go in the hood.
Right.
Who owns every gas station in the hood?
Yeah.
Right.
In the same areas where there's a drug dealer who looks like he got a lot of money because of the type of car he has,
Right.
but he don't have enough credit to buy the car that he's driving.
Right.
Right,
Right.
So that's, you see, the topics and the issues. Yeah, he got a car,
Right.
but what's his credit score?
Right.
That's what matters to me now.
Right.
Can I go to you
Absolutely.
and say, yo, bruh, I got this building over here. We can put a gas station over.
Right.
I know what you do and how you get down.
Absolutely.
But I need your credit score.
Right.
I don't need your money. Because they're going to tell us no when we come in there with bags of money.
Right.
But they can't tell us no because white people fight black people on credit,
Yes, they do.
Right. Right.
not money.
Yeah.
And so what I tell all of my friends, at the end of the day, we can sit here and talk about what they do to us. They only do to us what we allow them to do.
Exactly.
But if you're bought and paid by the same system, black police watching the white cop, what Ice Cube say in NWA, black police standing here showing off for the white cop. Well, not all black cops are like that.
Right.
Right.
But guess what? All you got to do is say something. And this is what I told them the other day. In speaking to some of my friends, I said, you know what? I said the irony in see something, say something. When y'all gonna do that?
Right.
Right.
That's a
Right.
good point.
Right.
But if you look at that holistically in the White House,
Yeah.
Right.
see something, say something.
Right.
When y'all gonna do that?
Right. Right.
That's why
when it comes to police in our community,
well, not even just police.
why
I
don't y'all
just,
speak up?
just in general, bro, because the world is never going to be a better place
Yeah.
if we don't get past this I, my, me society.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And unfortunately, it's getting worse because of images of what you see.
Right.
To bring it back to that, images can determine. I can do something and make the gray area the biggest podcast show in the world.
Okay.
All we got to do is do something crazy.
Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Stand up here and you be naked.
Right. Right. Or punch somebody.
You see what I'm saying? Those are the things that get the most attention.
Right.
That's
So guess where those things are being highlighted at? In our area.
Yeah.
In our community.
Right.
World star.
White people shoot black people. White people shoot more white people at an alarming rate than black people do.
They do.
Why? Because there's more of them, and you shoot people closest to you.
Right.
Right. Absolutely.
But guess what? They're not being broadcast all over the news
Right.
like they are in Chirac.
Right.
So again, my people can speak on numbers.
Is that because we need to own more things and get more involved in things?
more material.
But listen, this is what not material. I'm saying, is it because we need to be in better positions politically, news? And if you think about all the things that, let's just use white folks, that white folks are involved with the majority, right? Newscasters, politicians, you name it. It's only 13% of what, according to the census, it may be 15 to 16. But you look at 13% of black folks in America, and you say, how can we possibly get in these positions and be in these areas, to infiltrate and try and say that, look, this is not us. We got black newscasters, we got black politicians, we got, we had a black president, we got people in positions, but that's not enough. We got officers, but there's a majority of white officers when there really should be a majority of black officers in black neighborhoods because they understand and know what's happening, so they can address things differently. We can argue that based on training. The training is hopefully going to get better, but what we're facing is there's only 13% of us, and the majority obviously are in different positions that allow them to take control of this narrative. They own more things. How do we defeat that? How do we get around that?
Own your own. Very
Right.
simple. Become your own boss.
Right.
It's really, really simple. Some people are born and raised to be workers.
Right. I agree with that.
And some people are, look at what you guys did.
Right. True.
You did it on your own.
Yeah.
You did it the way you wanted to do it. So no one can come in here and control your narrative.
Right.
Until, the people that have made it, it's still the same cycle. I'm a firm believer in my little part that I play. I could easily play the role of I'm the guy and all I do is just ride around and I jet set, take pictures by private planes that I've ridden on, but that doesn't do anything for me.
Right.
And so I think all of the things that you talk about, Ray, it's going to be hard for any of those things to become a reality, because if we still are being governed by Mr. Charlie,
Right.
then there's no way we can have our own wings and spread them.
Right.
They're going to tell us how and when to do it. So we've gotten to a point where the world that we're living in, and this is just from my point of view.
Sure.
Everything is about capitalism.
Okay. True.
And the more you focus on capitalism, the more the human moral compass goes away.
Right. Right.
Because if everything I do is based on, and I'm a firm believer, you can become rich and you can become wealthy
Right. And still be.
and still have an
Absolutely.
understanding of how important it is to share your wealth
Okay.
of knowledge.
Right. Right.
Don't have to be your money.
Right.
Sometimes, again, these young brothers and sisters are so innovative today
Right.
that my 13-year-old tells me how to work my phone. Now, the beauty of my 13-year-old telling me how to work my phone, she can also tell me the capital of Africa. She can also tell me who this president was in this era.
Right.
So she's going to be dynamic because she's also going to be able to tell me who Fred Sanford was in the hood.
Right.
We have to teach our kids to be able to go out and fish, cook, and feed yourself.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Until we are able to do that, and I'm a firm believer in that, and that's why whatever assets, people tell me, man, you could be rich if I what? Please explain to me, because how you know I'm not?
Right.
But I could be rich in what? If I did, because if it was that easy, you would be rich.
Right.
So whatever it is that you're trying to persuade me to do, you're only doing that because I have something that you want. So thus you're going to try to pull me over
Right.
to where you are. And again, if I can help you, I talk to Pat all the time about this and how I think you guys can take this and take it to a whole nother stratosphere. If that's what your motives are.
Right.
Yeah.
Your motives, you might be just as at peace and at joy with doing this, but everybody else is so excited about the happiness of what it looks like and potential what can happen for them.
Yeah.
And my thing would be to them, go build your own.
Right.
Or ask them, how did they build theirs?
Right.
You don't have to do it to this extent,
Right.
but you can create your own.
Right.
And we shared that wisdom.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
guess what? You got to be taught how to go
Yeah.
fish.
Yeah, exactly.
I can tell you everything about what I've done in my career and how I've done it, but you would never be able to mimic that
There's work behind it.
there's work behind it that you haven't seen.
Right.
You just look at me and don't realize, bro, I haven't asked my mother for nothing since I was 13 years old. Not one red nickel.
Right.
Since I was 13. And that ain't because I worked hard. I believe that I really never worked a day in my life. Because everything that I've done is stuff that I enjoy doing.
Right.
So now it's easy for me.
Right.
So when people see me, one of my best friends, Oz, would always tell me, man, you know what the problem is? You make this look too easy. Really, word up. And I would be like, well, why do you say that? He said, because have you ever watched yourself? I said, well, that's dumb. He said, no, I'm just joking on that. But the way you carry yourself,
Right.
the way that you go about things that matter to other people
Right.
don't matter to you.
Right.
And I said, they probably matter to me, but they don't control me.
Right. Right.
And because my philosophy in life is things that I can't control, I don't let control me.
Right.
So as a people, Ray, we're controlled by objects,
Right.
not objects of worth and value.
Right.
We're controlled by material things. If I get $1,000, I'm gonna go put it down on this Buick LeSabre and put some Vogues on it, and the car worth $2.
Right.
But them Vogues look good. The wheels are spinning,
Right.
but you have no insurance.
Right.
You don't have a house.
Bad credit.
Bad credit. Your kids can't feed you. So you said to me that mindset
Right.
has to be. How do you get to that mindset? You gotta have people that show you,
Right.
look what I've obtained,
Right. Right.
and we're following.
Right.
No disrespect, everybody can't be Beyonce.
Right.
So she got a beehive of 50 million people,
Right.
all trying to dress and dance like Beyonce.
Yeah.
That
Right.
wasn't designed for you.
Right.
That was
Right,
designed
right,
for her.
Absolutely.
And she went through hell to get it.
Right.
She lost her daddy. She lost friends.
Right.
How many people can say I'm willing to do it? Half of the people that's listening, that if it came down to it, you got to get rid of your family, your daddy, your blah 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 blah,
Right.
to get a record deal.
Right.
I didn't tell you what kind of deal.
We call that.
When you say we can do this, it sounds good,
Right.
but what's the playbook to do it?
Right.
We don't know. We don't have that. What we know is I'm gonna go to college.
Right.
I'm gonna get me 2 or 3 degrees.
Right.
And there's so many people in our community, they got more degrees than a thermostat.
Right.
But guess what they're doing with them?
Right.
They can make 100,000, 200,000, whatever they make a year.
Right.
Ask any of them how many times they've taken $2 and went and gave it to some little kid in the hood. The smallest things
Right.
that they can do, and I keep saying that because when brothers and sisters say to me, "Man, we can do this," man, you can't get 3 people to sit at the table with you
Right.
and put in on gas,
Right. Right.
and it's $2,
Right.
and it's 3 of y'all. So that means each one of y'all should have $1.
Right.
Y'all got the 2? Y'all need my $1 here. That's us.
Right.
The person said, nah, now we can ride for even longer if we put your $1 in.
Right. Right.
So if there is no blueprint, going back to humanity and people serving,
Right.
I can only speak for myself. I consistently do things without writing them down.
Okay.
Anything that I've ever done,
Okay.
I've never written it down.
Okay.
Ever.
Why?
One, I wasn't taught that way, if I could say that I was taught. But then 2, the way that my brain works with things that I enjoy, I don't have to. Because I already know what I want to happen.
Right.
I can sit in a room with 20 people
Right.
and drive them absolutely crazy because I didn't do it the way they were taught at their
Right.
prestigious college
Right.
and how they got their law degree or their engineering degree.
Right.
But when they show up to the event, this is what my friend Oz is talking about, where I make it look easy. They show up to the event and it didn't, and it happened, and I didn't need their expertise.
Right. Right.
I knew what I needed out of it.
Right.
How much of this, Ray, did you have to write down?
Yeah, we did right into
So, why?
That's a good point, man.
Because when it's something that you're passionate about,
Yeah.
and you know,
Yeah.
you don't have to.
You see yourself
You
doing
see
it.
it, and it becomes,
And it becomes-
a reality.
becomes
You know, too foolish. So when you talk about us doing things together,
Yeah.
if you're not, and I tell kids this every time I speak, if it's a group of 10 of y'all in a circle,
Right.
surround yourself with 6 people that's doing equal or better than you.
Right.
That's a good advice.
Yeah.
Because those
Yeah.
6 people are going to, my daughter goes to school, and it's like 6 or 7 little girlfriends. And she goes to a predominantly white school.
Okay.
They've kind of sprinkled some in since she's been there for 8 years. It's a little diverse now, but every child that's a friend of hers, all on honor roll,
Right.
they all participate in some sport or something. They're not the best. They're not the greatest.
Sure.
They don't go to school for that.
Sure.
Right.
But they compete, but they push each other.
Right.
So my goal is when people tell me, well, you know what, your daughter, what about when she gets older? Y'all can meet my daughter. She's light as you are, but as black as me. Because she knows herself.
Right.
Because when she was 1,
Am I not black because I'm light skinned?
you black, but
you're different.
Don't start Patrick.
Okay, let's
so I think, Ray, going back to it,
Sure.
you gotta have a blueprint for success.
Right. Right.
And that blueprint is not going to come off the paper.
Right.
Like I know a lot of smart, intelligent, brainiac people, right?
Right. Right.
They're good at putting stuff on the paper. They're horrible at lifting it off.
Right.
Talk about that.
Right.
And that's the world we live in. There's so many people that can come in here and tell us what to do, how to do it,
Right.
but they've never
Ain't
done
doing
it.
themselves. Like the mechanic that know how to fix cars, but his car don't work
Okay.
all day.
Isn't that ironic? So, I've been fixing it for years,
He's been
too.
fixing everybody's car.
Everybody's car.
Can't drove one yet.
His name Harold or something. Got a cigarette. Man, let me tell you what's wrong with the carburetor. Now get in there. Boy, get in there and fire that thing up. Now turn the ignition down. When it click, now you're gonna hear a click. This is
Right.
Mr. Harold them at the local guy, man. They be down there. But guess what? He ain't got a notebook.
Right.
Or nothing. Now what you gonna do here, Patrick? You're gonna leave your car with me and come back around here about 3 or 4 o'clock, and I'm gonna have your car ready for you. Well, what's wrong with it? I can't tell you right now. Go back 3 or 4 o'clock. But that's because that's an ability that one he picked up through trial and error,
Right.
making mistakes,
Yeah.
but knowing this is who I am.
Yeah.
You don't need a notebook for that.
Right. Absolutely.
You don't need a notebook, a school book.
And it goes back to action, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because if you want to see something, and this is what, in my household, this is what I preach. It's like we can pray all day.
Yeah.
We can have faith all day. But we're not moving.
That's what
Right.
works well.
We're not working towards it.
Prayer without works.
It's dead. So, and this was my initial problem. I removed myself mentally from the church at 19 years old. Got back into it at 35 when I heard a preacher who was of Caucasian descent preach some things that I'd never heard of in a different way of teaching the Bible, which is really interesting to me. And he still is. And I still listen to him. I listen to this guy. I don't know if you're familiar with Aaron Brockett of A Trader's Point.
That's where my daughter goes to school.
And he said something very interesting the other day. He was talking about church and Christmas, and he congregation full of white folks, and they was talking about Mary and the Caribbean. He was like, "Now I'm gonna show you a picture." It had the white, He said the only thing that's wrong with this is that it's too much white people on it, and I can guarantee you that he got all kind of letters and emails about, because what's happened is that people's mindset and what they think this whole carriage and, you know, how Jesus was born and everything, and it looks like he is, you know, all these people are Caucasian. He said no. He said a lot of these people were, you know, of Arabian descent, or he used another word, but they didn't look like what they have been projected to be.
Right.
And I like that, because you as a pastor, you can't be afraid to tell people what you know and what you've read about the Bible. Anybody who has read the Bible intentionally, and you have to read it in precept, but anybody who understands the Bible and understands what's reading in there know doggone well, and I'm going to say this, is that a lot of the characters that are based in that Bible were not of Caucasian descent.
But they're black people. But go ahead.
So the thing is that I love a pastor who can speak like that and not be afraid to talk to his congregation that is mostly Caucasian. You know, Church Point is a very diverse church, but there's a lot of Caucasians that go there, and I was drawn into that, and that brought me back into this arena to say, you know what, there is a guy out there who gets it, you know, who is willing to break down these different chapters in the Bible and create a segment around it, because the church that I was going to as a kid, it just seemed like everybody was going, and then you would hear these people cursing and yelling at each other, and then all these things, and they go back to church, and the sister so-and-so would talk about sister so-and-so, and this and that's, I'm not knocking the black church, but I'm saying as a kid, I was turned off by church. I disconnected.
Yeah. That ain't gonna change.
Yeah, I was disconnected. So we got to get back to, you know, preaching this. You know, faith without works is dead. You know, you can sit here and holler and run around the church and scream, but after you leave, what are you going to do?
Right.
Are you going to be in the same position you were last week and not have made any progress than in this week coming to be something different than what you are or have been in or what you're in? What are you going to do?
Right.
You know, and I learned that like at 27 is when I considered myself becoming a man. Is when I realized what my purpose was, and it wasn't even about me no more. You know what I'm saying? And at 34 is when I got back in the church, because now I'm mature enough to understand like what I need in my soul to be spiritually aligned, and I just needed someone that I could listen to that could correctly and give me enough to help me understand what I'm reading. You know, in the Bible, how does it make sense? You know, so I mean, I just wanted to share that story because I feel like, you know, we live in a time where we still struggle with going out there and creating our own destinies. Like, we're mini gods. You think about that. We are mini gods. We've been given the ability to shoot, kill, steal, wake up, have birth, do, and we choose to do things that don't even align with our purpose. And we can just decide, you know, when something lines up with your purpose because it's all green lights. Everything has been a green, since we created the gray area, everything's been a green light. There have been no no's, no doors have shut.
Right.
And it's because we stopped relying on people. We didn't look at any other podcast. Dude, I get people like, man, I've been looking at different podcasts. We didn't look at anything. Me and Patrick came in here and we just did it. We didn't even know how this equipment worked. We had to learn it. It took us a month to figure out how to make this work, and how to stream to Facebook, and how to make it all go. We didn't go to school for this. So I'm a living witness to say, look, if you want to go do something, get up and do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. You know, whether this goes far or whether it's just what it is, I'm happy either way. You know, I would love to, because our goal is to reach as many people as we can. We don't care about money. We don't get paid to do this. You know, but if that comes later on because of what we're doing and people gravitate to it, then that's great.
Right.
You know, but we just love getting in here, showing people that, hey, what you seeing on the news and what you seeing out there in the world, that's not what we are. That's not what we're doing.
Right.
That's just the most politicized. But what's really happening is I got brothers around me that are educated. I got brothers around me that read. We got a library in this next room that y'all don't see, that where we read about different things in our history and everything. You know, we can back that up. You know, Patrick, this man buys, you show him one book, he buy 5.
Yeah, he does.
I don't even think people realize that. He got 5 of every book. And if you come in here and you say, I like that book, he'll give it to you. And don't even want it back. You see that? But I've been doing it for 20 years. He still ain't gave me my jacket and CD back.
Totally jacket and CD.
I'm still waiting on that jacket and CD because he got 3 of those. You know. But my point is, man, man, we have to get up off our butts and stop just praying and waiting and doing all these things. That's great to do, but we have to get out here and make something shake.
We got
Well,
to.
and if you really follow the blueprint of Jesus, because I mean, you know, I'm not a Christian, but I do read and I understand and follow the teachings of Jesus, just like
Yes, you are.
anybody else. No, I'm not. Well, just like Gandhi, although I don't by no means promote Gandhi, but he said you can have he said, give me the Christ, you can have the Christianity.
Okay.
That's what I go by.
Well,
But
you're a follower of Christ, right?
of his teachings, yeah.
Then you're a Christian.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
Okay.
Because that's not his name. But anyway, I digress.
Semantics.
But my point is, he's the blueprint. So if you call yourself a Christian and you're really following his teachings, he was a get up and do man. You know, he worked. He had faith and he worked. So, I mean, I guess, in my opinion, like I said, if you're a Christian, if he's the man that you follow, he's the man that you are a disciple of, then that is your blueprint for the Christians.
Okay.
So if you're looking for an image, my question would be, why is that not your image? Why is that image not even enough? Because shouldn't
Part of
it
the
be?
image to follow.
Tough world we live in today.
But,
So many influences.
are we following the image or are we following his teachings? So when I say image, I'm saying what he represented, what he taught. So why isn't him, why is Jesus not enough for us to actually do? For us to be better, for us to be greater? Why do we need Beyonce? Why do we need your NFLs or your NBA players and all these other people if we are Christians? Why isn't he not enough? Because if I am, then that should be all I need.
Right. You see, part of that we believe. We believe that he's enough.
Then why aren't we following? Then why isn't that blueprint enough for us?
Because
Why do
we're
we
also-
need all these extras?
Because we're also a people that need to see Jesus walk through the door.
That's true, which we all can be Jesus. But we all can be
You want to
Jesus.
see him walk through the door.
got too deep.
But we all can be
And
Jesus.
float on water.
You can be Jesus, you can be Jesus, we all can be Jesus, because really that's what he wanted us to be in the first place. That's what he taught. He taught you to be Jesus.
Sure.
So you, in essence, you are right. We are looking for Jesus to walk through the door.
Right.
We're looking for the Jesus of 2,000 years ago, but we don't understand that Jesus actually taught us to be him as well.
Right.
So we're not looking at our brother and saying, Amp can actually get me to where I need to go because he's Amp.
Right.
You know, because of what he's been through, because I can relate to what Amp has done. So it goes back to your point as far as being rocked to sleep by religion, and I understand what you meant when you said that, because in essence, that's exactly what we've been doing. Like they used to say in the slave days, keeping our eye on the pie in the sky, instead of the amps that we have right in front of us.
Right. Right.
So
We got to be believers in ourselves, you know.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that we can't be spiritual and align ourselves with God, but
Right.
we need to have enough faith in ourselves to believe that we can
Yeah.
go out and achieve and be anything we
That's
want to
right.
be.
Yeah.
I tell my son that. I said, son, you can be anything you want to be.
Yeah.
He wants to be a basketball player, go to the NBA. I said, that's great, son. I said, and do that as long as you got a passion to do it. But when you ready to quit, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, there's other things you can do. You know, I see 10 things that you like doing around this house that ain't got nothing to do with basketball. So, but we have to keep believing. My son, and I tell this story all the time. My son in the 3rd grade didn't know how to count money at all. He was
Yeah.
struggling CD. Well,
By synergy,
It's an interesting story.
We should, yeah.
it's interesting because I had to, in a sense, take over him. And when he came to live with me, I had to reprogram everything that was learned from the time he was a baby to the time that he was in 3rd grade. My son has been a straight A-B student. He's in 7th grade now. 4 years of work that young man has an unbelievable brain, and it was all because he believed in himself. He believed that he can do it. Black folks need to stop doing homework for their kids. Stop doing homework for your kid. Force them to think.
Right.
Challenge them to take notes. My son didn't know what taking notes. The teacher's job is to teach you. You can't be in class and be afraid because you don't know. That's why you're there. You know? I have my things about the education in America, but right now you need to understand that they're at your disposal.
Right.
So you need to go to school and get as much as you can from them. And if you don't know, raise your hand.
Yeah.
Don't let that teacher leave that classroom until she teach you how to do what she's supposed to be teaching you. Because when you take a test, it's only you.
Right.
So my son's problem is he had everybody doing his homework for him. And when the test came, he didn't know what the heck was going on. So he was living, and most kids in our community are living
Privileged, very.
are living off of homework.
Yeah.
Because you get a good grade of homework, you had everybody help you. But guess what matters the most? The quizzes and the tests.
Yeah.
So my son went from being a DFC student to an AB student. Now he challenges himself. We talk about homework every day. What you do in school today? What you do in this class? I don't even feel right if I can't talk to him every day and ask him what he did at school. It's normal now. And that's another thing I want to preach to fathers out there is that it's a behavior that you have to develop over time that will force you to feel like, I didn't do that today. I got to talk to my son. We got to talk about homework or something. I'm gonna wake. I had to wake my son up. What y'all do at school today? Because I felt bad that I hadn't had a conversation with him that day. And that's something that I had to learn myself. Like I said, when I said I became a man at 27, that's when I realized that the purpose for my life was bigger than me.
Yeah.
So I had to take control of my responsibilities and my priorities, and my kids were number one. So once I did that, the behavior of me becoming a man and a father, I don't know how not to be one.
Yeah.
And men need to develop that. And that comes from being around other men who do that. So we just got to get back to that, man. I love my son because I see where he came from. And the dude has so much confidence. We talk about taking a test. He had a test Thursday. Did you study? Yeah, I put 30 minutes in. I studied for 30 to 45 minutes. It's like we didn't used to have those conversations. He used to cry when we did homework.
Oh, man.
Because he was afraid of being challenged.
Yeah.
Now he loves it. I did my homework at school before I left. Okay, well tell me what your homework is about.
Hey man,
that's where you want to get to. No, you good. You good.
I just feel liberated. Roy Moore lost in Alabama.
Yes.
Oh, good.
What that mean?
Black people came out.
That's right. Barack, they say Barack actually.
But it's mostly African Americans out there anyway, ain't it?
Well, the irony in this.
Not in the rural areas.
White
not
women.
in the rural areas, no.
Was his number one vote. Now,
Are you serious?
White women, but that just goes back.
Oh my goodness!
Well, they were defending him.
But yeah,
they was defending him.
They didn't drink the Kool-Aid.
That's awesome.
But what this shows is, these are the images and things that we gotta do before we move and make a decision.
Absolutely.
Why do we, as black people, always have to wait till the house burns down before we get out of it?
Come on with that one.
That's a good one.
That's what, and I mean, this just really it gives me hope.
Right.
Because they tried everything.
Everything.
So now from a religious standpoint,
sure,
it shows that I think now we'll start to see, because all we need to do is see, taste a win.
Right.
We became complacent from 2008 to 2016.
Absolutely.
Because we just assumed, we all gonna go eat chicken on the White House lawn.
Right.
We up in that thing.
Right.
So.
Right.
This, what we talked about earlier, is what matters to me.
Okay.
Is the fact that I know we had to go out because white women supported this dude.
Sure did.
That means that people of color went against him.
That's a significant win.
Yeah.
Oh, Alabama's a red state.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's crazy. That wasn't supposed to happen.
But it's supposed to happen.
Yep.
Because all the cards, this goes back to the battle of Christianity.
Right.
That they're saying to us, these things are becoming normal.
Right.
And it's going to be normal that you can touch a young girl and be a pedophile and become a U.S. senator. That's what they will put. That's the narrative. White women were saying, it's okay because this is for us. See, you don't get it. This is what I talk about, what gets me excited, because I was terrified that we weren't going to come out. They needed us.
Right.
In Alabama.
So what does this win do?
For me, again, as black people, bro, we're very complacent. We're complacent. I don't think we're lazy. We're just complacent because, again, it don't affect me. So I'm not going to vote. I don't care.
Right.
Well, we hit a nerve. Because, no, you're not going to say this is acceptable.
Right.
But the irony of it is the evangelicals in Alabama, the white women, I serve a God that says this, and this.
Yeah, they condone, or they try to condone.
They try to justify it.
Yeah.
So now what we do is we take this image and say, this is what we do, first and foremost, to get our country back to somewhat of normalcy. You take that to say, okay, Donald Trump, this is the second time he done threw everything in for a bigot and a racist.
Right.
For numbers. So now what it shows to me, Ray, is we're going to take our country back. We're going to make America great again.
You believe that with just that win?
Yes, sir.
Man, that's Alabama. You know, like you said, I mean, that's a red state. That's
absolutely.
That's
now, if we get in Florida,
see, that's
then I can say, okay, we getting somewhere.
Alabama, that is not supposed to happen.
But not only that, when you talk about he took the whole White House and threw it behind a pedophile.
That is...
Bruh, the only reason Trump thought that is because he thought they were going to win.
Right.
He was trending to win.
Right.
So when I'm sitting here saying this, I'm like, oh, because again, this goes back to my narrative.
Right.
We see images of winning,
right,
even in elections.
Right.
Now your point of we got to rally up.
Yeah.
Not just in Alabama, we got to rally up around the rest of the country. In 2018, we got to take back politically the Senate and the Congress.
Yeah.
Now we can make decisions, hopefully, because at the end of the day, we still got some people on our side, as a Democrat, when I say our side, that aren't that much different than Donald Trump.
Right.
Because there was some people that were Democrats that didn't like Barack Obama because he didn't do what they wanted him to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just say that.
It was really
But
close.
that's why, that's my point. We did that.
Right. Right.
We had to have done that.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Because that margin, I mean, that's by...
Bro, because...
Man, that's Alabama.
That's Alabama.
That's Alabama. That's not supposed to happen.
Wow.
But it happened.
That's the difference. So again, I'm excited.
Blue.
I'm partially.
Wow.
Let me say, I'm excited because I'm glad he lost.
Right.
I have a glimmer of hope because
For
he
sure.
lost.
For sure. I feel you.
So that's all I can ask for, and that's where I can say I have an image that I can say, "Ooh, look at this! See, y'all, we can make a difference.
Right.
We can make a change in Indiana. We can do that.
Right.
If Texas ever,
You see what I'm saying? Indiana, we can do that.
Gotta do that. You know it's going to change.
I mean, it happened. No way.
Because now they're still going to use him to say Donald Trump and the Republicans supported a pedophile.
And he lost.
And he lost.
Yeah.
If he would have won, the world was over.
Yep.
If Texas ever turns blue,
That's what I'm saying. Florida and Texas.
They did.
Florida, Texas, and Indiana.
Texas, we're
They
blue
did.
already?
Texas
No.
didn't. Texas never does.
Yeah. But
Florida did.
yeah, but I'm saying Texas. If Texas ever goes blue, wow.
Well, it doesn't even matter. They can stay that. All I need, Pat, is for people to
Have some
use their voice.
Yeah.
And common sense, man.
Well, common sense goes out the window when you're talking about money.
Yeah.
That supersedes common sense because
Yeah.
everything we're talking about is common sense. None of us are pastors in here.
Right.
None of us went to seminary school to be talking about the Bible and our perception of it.
For sure.
Well, I did. No, okay.
Oh, well,
I did a little bit, though. I did a little bit. But I'm not no pastor, though.
No, but you don't believe it. You said you don't believe, but you went to seminary school.
Yeah, I did. But that's why I changed my faith, because of seminary. But that's a
can't
whole
say-
other subject.
I can't
Seminary, they say,
Yeah, when I was
they say
in
it'll
school,
change your faith. They sure did. And you learn the truth.
and I take world religion,
Uh-huh.
I was concerned because when you started learning like all these different faiths and what they did to become the faith of what it was, you'd be like, all these mothers is messed up.
I got a book I've had since seminary that they actually gave us as the text called When Jesus Became God.
Do you see what you started?
So that book right there that seminary gave me as a text.
Amen.
Look.
Well, that's another topic for another show. That's another topic for another show.
You got sis over here saying that Christ wasn't his name. And,
Won't he do
I
it?
mean, last time I checked it wasn't. I'm sorry. Give it to him.
This is the only thing I'm gonna say. If that's the case, then Jesus wasn't his name then, because there was no.
I can argue. I mean, hey, I can agree with that too, because we don't really know semantics. That's
The
it.
scripture said that his name was the Word.
But you know what really matters is what he
Why you throw up the West Side logo
Oh,
there?
you can't do this, Daddy.
The Word.
You will never do that.
West Side on me.
That's a good T-shirt, though.
The Word.
That's a good T-shirt.
The Word.
Have a T-shirt.
Man, you just gave me an idea.
The word. I got it. I like it.
His
I
name
like
was
it.
the Word.
I like it.
There it is. What would Jesus do?
Read the Word. Yeah, man.
I like
Lighten
that.
it up, though, man. Talk to you, man, about LeVar Ball really quick.
LeVar Ball.
Man, what is your take on LeVar Ball?
LeVar Ball is a opportunist who is taking advantage of his opportunity. He is a father who is living vicariously through his kids.
Absolutely,
Yeah, I totally agree with that one.
He is a narcissistic goofball who is, in my opinion, going to damage his kids long term than he is going to benefit them long term. And why I say that is the moment that they're rejected, because they're going to get rejected, is going to be a teaching lesson he can't teach because he's going so far against the grain. And I'm not mad at him for taking advantage of the system, but there isn't much of a difference in how LeVar Ball is pimping the system and his kids. No different than Kimberly Jones just did with her son to get money. Because when I look at LeVar Ball, I applaud him for taking advantage of what's given to him. But now you're taking your kids out of school,
Yeah, that's
all because of basketball.
yeah, that's ridiculous.
Right.
And so that's the failing part, because you thinking that they're humble kids, bro. There's no humility in a 17-year-old who doesn't have to go to school,
Say that.
all to play basketball. And when you put all your eggs in that basketball basket, and they don't come to reality,
Right.
bro, we don't teach our kids how to fail.
Right.
All we do is try to teach our kids how to win.
Yeah.
That's not life.
Were you on board when he became this figure of
Never
I'm
been
standing
on
up for
board
my
with it.
kids?
Never
No.
been on board with it because he could have done the same thing without being antics, without the antics being and the light
Yeah.
being shown on him.
Yeah, he made it more about
Because
him.
whatever
Right.
his son was going to do, what he was doing at UCLA, his daddy ain't got nothing to do with that.
Right.
So that's the narcissistic side in him.
Right.
His daddy has now become a celebrity in his own right.
Right.
And so I just feel bad because again, at the end of the day, who suffers?
The kids, man.
The kids.
Yeah, man.
And
They
so
suffer.
for his 5 minutes of fame, it's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
But let one of them not make it pro, because you're assuming
Right.
that they're that good.
He said that they will all end up on the Lakers, and I just close my eyes, man.
But that, I mean, there's nothing wrong with him. See, that's what I mean. Like when he says stuff like that, that don't bother me, because if they work hard enough, Ray,
Right.
they could possibly be on the Lakers.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
all the dots have to be dotted. All the I's need to be dotted, and all the T's have to be crossed
Yeah.
for that to happen.
Right.
Because one thing is for certain: you've taken them out of school.
Right.
That's different than having a son who played college basketball
Right.
and failed to number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it was branding. Some of it was his skill set.
Mm-hmm.
But what I don't like about LeVar Ball is stop making it about you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You're on the Breakfast Club tomorrow morning.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
Him and his kids.
Wow.
They about
Why-
to talk about
why
this
not the
Lithuania
kids?
professional basketball deal they just signed.
But do you see what it's I get it. I'm all for, and again, and we're harping on this, but it's about what you keep talking about, Ray, what
Right.
we can do.
Absolutely.
LeVar Ball ain't concerned about what we can do.
Right.
He's only concerned about what
he can
his
do.
kids and he can do. So I applaud him because he's killing the system. I mean, in a winning way.
Right. Right.
But I also have a problem with him because when is enough enough?
Yeah.
When do you say, okay, I got it? Now
Mm-hmm.
you act like a company. Because in a minute, your buffoonery, they going to turn it off.
Right. And
They
people
did
are
it to the greatest.
capitalizing off of this entertainment, and not in a good way. I think that people are really capitalizing off of them, and as he's trying to counter that by saying, you know what, our kids, we going to be great. People are also making the buffoons of him, like when they put him on CNN.
Yeah, but guess what? CNN is doing the same thing to him that they did when Donald Trump was running.
Right.
It helps them.
Right.
They know what
That's
they're
what I said.
doing.
They
They're
capitalizing off of it.
Yeah, but he want, and so is he. See, that's the game. In my world, anybody can become a celebrity today, but you can't become a star.
And anybody can become a president too.
And
Obviously.
and it's
Right.
There are no criteria. But even in basketball, you still have to play.
Right.
They still got to go out there and produce. They're not going to pick their kids because it's LeVar Ball's kids and all of
work
them
that
be
way.
in.
Right. What do you think about his game?
Who's
Is it
game?
what's the oldest son?
Who, the
Look,
one
now
with the
look at
Lakers?
me.
Lonzo.
Lonzo, yeah. What do you
Yeah,
think
I
about
mean,
his game
he's
with the
a
Lakers?
typical rookie that shows flashes of he can play, and then
Right.
that's the ups and downs of the game.
Right.
But when I'm talking about disappointments, when one of them don't make it,
Right.
what you gonna do then? When if they stay over in Lithuania
Right.
because they get over there and they're not playing well. See, he's playing a game with their lives. To take both of them out of school, bro, and then your son who you take out of UCLA because he committed a crime, and that's how you say we're going to discipline him.
Well, some would argue that was a smart move, is to
For what?
take both of his kids out of the American education system and place them in your own hands. They get homeschooled or
To be
schooled.
to be taught to
and
be
then-
like him.
Well, I don't know what he's teaching them,
But-
but as I said, some would
right
argue
now-
that was a smart move for him to take them out and take them to Lithuania, where they still become pro, and then even
That's
get to the
if-
NBA even faster.
That's if you become good in Lithuania.
Right,
See, these are high school kids.
right.
They're not. That's not a game over there. People don't understand. You
But they
go
play as young as that over there.
No.
I mean, Tony Parker
But here's
was
the
what,
difference.
15?
Tony Parker was raised in that over there.
Yeah.
Okay,
There is a difference.
okay.
There is a difference between playing the game and knowing the game. Tony Parker was raised knowing the European
Do you
game.
think they have skill?
Who?
The kids.
I'm not a fans of them.
Okay.
You know, I'm
One shoots the ball 50 times a game.
I mean, I didn't know the young dude was 6'6", 6'5".
yeah, but it's a bunch of dudes that's 6'6" and 6'5" that are better than his kids. See, he's
Right.
doing,
He's
again,
hyping.
He can do all of that, bro.
my thing with him is, rather if you take your kids, those are your kids.
Mm-hmm.
You take them and do whatever you want to do with them. My opinion is, if it's all strictly basketball, they have no life skills. So it goes back to what we keep talking about black people in the hood.
Right.
Coming up out of there. How do you come out of there? You got to have some sort of skill set. How do you get a skill set? You got to be around it. You got to be, somebody has to teach you. You got to go through it. Them going through Lithuania, they know nothing about Lithuania. It's a 17-year-old going across the water with a bunch of people that don't know him.
Right.
So what you going to do? Go over there and do the exact same marketing plan?
Right.
The people over there will
It ain't
kill
gonna
you.
work. Yeah.
But what if it does? What if they
I
go
mean,
over there
it's-
and they get good and they make it to the
It's a
end?
part of it. They play
Good
basketball.
for them, yeah.
Okay.
They play. If it happens, there's nothing we can do about it. This
Right.
is just my opinion.
Right.
That at the end of the day, I think that there is. It worked with your oldest son. I don't think it's gonna work 3 times.
Yeah.
Right.
I just don't see it. All of them don't have the same skill set,
Right.
and so you're talking about they all gonna play for the Lakers. That's your goal.
Right.
That's
Right.
his goal. They
Right.
might just say, "Dad, I just want to play."
Right.
You keep saying that, I just believe, bruh, I'm going to give my child, just like you said about your son,
Absolutely.
I'm going to give him every opportunity to be great.
Right.
But you're going to go pro at something. Might
Right.
not be sports.
Absolutely.
You're going to be a pro, whether if it's a doctor,
Right.
a nurse, a preacher, whatever it is. Because the sky is the limit.
Right.
That's how I live. I don't believe that I'm going to. Your kids play basketball, but man, I there's no way that you can sit here and say you're gonna send your kids overseas. And again, what if they go over there and they average 3 points a game?
Yeah.
Who's gonna draft them in the NBA?
Nobody.
They're gonna be free agents trying to get on a team. And now because you've gone through, taking them through all of this ridicule, they're going to be the laughing stock of basketball. And they didn't sign up for it.
Yeah,
It's
it's gonna be a
because
lot
your
of. Remember
daddy.
when so and so.
So no, Patrick, to your question, bro, I don't follow the balls like that. I just know that as a parent, I can't tell him how to raise his kids, but I do have a fundamental problem when you say, I'm going to take my kids out of school to homeschool them. And there's nothing wrong with homeschooling because there's a lot of kids, white, black, purple, pursuing their dreams to get taken out of school for homeschool, but they don't have a crazy parent that is guiding their career through his life. So that's the hardest part for me. If he just let them little boys go out there, okay, we're going to get you over. This is the plan. Sign you up, let you go play overseas, let everybody see you can play at that level, and then we'll go from there. Not, they going to play for the Lakers. Yeah, you about dumb as a box
I'm like
of rocks.
50-50 with LeVar, man. I mean,
You can have it.
there's
I don't
a
do him
side
at
that I
all.
don't like about him, but there's a side that I love when it comes to him taking control of situations. What I don't like is, like you said, is where he makes it about him and it becomes his dream rather than their dream.
Take control all you want.
But what I do like about the controlling part is that he's not going to allow America to control his son's destiny. So he's going to take them to a place where
So he hates America?
no. I'm not saying he hates America. He loves America. Obviously, the opportunities here, but I'm saying that he's not going to allow the American dream to be, confused, or shaken. He's not going to allow his kids to be shaken by the American dream.
What is what's that?
Well, I'm not saying that there is one. I'm just saying that this is what
Well,
America.
it is.
In America. But listen, in America, they're saying that you look.
You're talking about education-wise.
Yeah, education,
Because
going
he's living the
going through the
American
system
dream
and
'cause his
becoming in
son's
the
an
NBA.
player.
But I'm saying going through the education system, going to college, doing all these things, and you become a professional player. But
Ray,
I mean,
you know what the problem is with that, bro?
yeah,
He has no intentions of them going to school.
So what's the American dream?
What I'm saying by the American dream is,
He's already taken them out.
yeah, I know, but this is what I'm saying. Maybe I could use different words in regards to that. But what I'm saying is what I like about what he's controlling in aspect of his family and his kids is that he's not allowing their progress to be thwarted by things that happen here. Okay, so America can say your son's a thief. He can't play on my team. He can't do that. Your youngest son, you took him out of school. We're not going to draft him. We're going to do it. He's saying, look, regardless of what's happening here in America, I'm still going to get my boys to a place where they can, what I see them doing. That now maybe it's his dream, which is why I disagree with. But if they're telling him, and we don't know this, they could be in a personal room saying, Dad, I still want to play. I want to do this, and fueling him to be this crazy person. He's taking all the heat to take it off of his kids. So maybe from that perspective, he's doing this because he realizes what he has at home and the conversations that he has with his boys. So I think that side of me is saying, like, if I'm at home with my son and some things happen out in the world and the world is turning him into this monster or criminal that I know he's not because I raised him, I'm not going to allow this, the dream or the being in the NBA or playing college ball or whatever stop them from pursuing something that they love doing. So I think that side of me is saying that maybe he is helping his kids get to a place where they want to get to. Maybe they telling him something different. But this other side of him I don't like is where he makes it about him. Big baller brand, big, this and promoting his self. And there's a platform which I think you can do that, but shouldn't be tied into what your son's dream is.
Did he used to be in the NBA or something? Was
he
ever a ball player?
LeVar was terrible. I mean,
really?
I think he played college ball. But he was horrible. His stats was not that.
Yeah, it was
the
like
media
2
has made him who he is today.
Okay.
And I mean, if it wasn't for them broadcasting and putting him out there like that, he would be just a regular. Because like Isaiah Thomas said on one of these things, he said, LeVar has been, these kind of people have been around in the NBA and the NFL. Right now, he's just getting that spotlight.
Is these kind of people been around as it relates to being involved in their kids, being around screaming and yelling in their kids'
Right. That's what I'm
lives.
talking about.
Yeah. What LeVar has done, in my opinion, has taken that to a whole nother level. Again, I'm all for this. First of all, those are his kids. He can do whatever he wants to do.
Right.
But it's gotten to a point where it's not about the kids anymore.
Yeah.
When he's on television, it's not about the kids. It's about him.
Right.
And bringing attention to Baller Brand, which is about him. Because LeVar, he doesn't realize the moment one of them breaks their leg, nobody talks to you anymore. And you might have a successful business. But nobody's going to talk to you because of that. So it's all right to create the brand, but you can't keep going. And what I see is he's eventually going to tone it down. You don't have a choice. Because now, after the next one, what's left for you to get on TV and scream about?
Which shows you why, like you said earlier in the show, where it's like you will get all the ratings in the world if you just become this crazy person or you do something crazy and it just shows you that we live in a society where somebody like Trump could be in office and it's because he's the greatest entertainer ever? I mean, like what?
Basically.
He's great he knows how to entertain people. So
But no,
what is this?
Trump got in on fear.
Yeah.
That's
Right. Well, that's
he didn't
entertainment
win.
to me.
Well, no,
Entertain people's
I wouldn't
weakness.
say entertainment is fear because people can die based on the rhetoric that he was
People have
spewing
died.
out there. You know what I mean?
Because he doesn't care about that. So in his eyes, to me, it was this is what, like you said earlier, about him wanting to be in the spotlight and be valued as a person who have achieved and won. To me, he cares nothing about that. So when I said he used entertainment to play on people's fear, I mean, like, that's just basically what he did. I mean, to him, it's entertainment. He don't care about nobody dying.
Entertainment, though, like that's life.
I mean, it's not entertainment. I'm saying from his eyes, he doesn't care about any of that, but he's going to use it to get himself in a position, which he did. So He don't care about what people say about racism. He don't care about any of these topics. But what he cares about is winning. So he used
He don't care about winning.
himself and his entertain. He's an entertainer to me.
But it's not about winning because what he's doing with Barack Obama has nothing to do with him wins and losses. You know what I mean?
What is it then?
It's about
That-
attention.
That's not even about attention. That's about hatred. He hates this man. He hates him because he's a black man and people love him. That's the narcissistic person in him. He's such a narcissist that I don't like, because you got to go back, bro. You got to do the history on Donald Trump with Barack Obama. For years, he said the same thing about Barack.
Right.
That he's not American.
Okay, matter. Yeah.
He doesn't. He was not born in America. So now that you would think if it's about wins, okay, I used that platform. I won. He doesn't matter to me anymore. That man cannot go to sleep without thinking about what would Barack Obama do.
You think you want to be him personally?
Who? Of course he wants to. But that's just
be
it.
Barack.
That's the point. What you do, all jokes
Right.
aside.
Right.
Exactly. Because why? People naturally
Because they
like
love him.
Barack
Yeah.
Obama.
Right.
What is Donald Trump doing all this for? To bring attention to himself.
Yeah.
LeVar Ball. Why is he doing all this? To bring attention to himself. His son is in. You got your son to the Lakers. You would think I'm gonna sit back and put my legs crossed and be a grown up
Right.
and use my son in areas that I can really go out. You can still profit,
Right.
but don't if nobody's talking about him
Right.
because he was a app 2 point. You see me? He's wanted to do this
Right.
all his life.
You said it, man.
All he could ever think about.
Now,
Now my boys done it. But what's gonna happen to his boys? And mark my word on this. It never fails. His LeVar Ball, his oldest son, he is going to distance himself from his daddy. Never fails. That's what the NBA and the NFL will do to you. Because it gives you your own personal life.
right.
We talked
Right.
about that before.
I told you that's what happened with
Yeah.
Greg Oden. Oh, he's the nicest guy in the world. I said, wait till we go to Portland. And them little raggedy little ratchets come start running around it and throwing it at him.
Right.
More than what he can imagine. All this stuff back here, bro. Now see,
Yeah.
that's we talked about this kind of stuff. That's what I do know.
Right.
Like you can get out there and your daddy can say whatever he wants.
Right.
But the moment you start getting your own money, you ain't got to live in his house.
Right.
He can say whatever
Think for yourself.
Bro, he can stop his daddy from coming to that arena. His daddy ain't ever got to come to that arena. So now there's going to be a wedge. So now he's going to take the pressure off of him. He's there.
Right.
Now I'm going to the younger ones that I can control.
Right.
Remember what I said. I can only control 1.5 persons. Me and then my daughter till she gets 18 or 21.
Right.
Now imagine a 19-year-old with millions and millions of dollars. He gonna respect his daddy when he wants to.
Right.
He ain't never got to talk to his daddy. Cause that game, it would make a man out of you, son.
Well, let's put a bet on it. How soon? When do you think that's going to happen? The next season?
Oh, I give it in the next between year number 3.
Yeah.
Watch, watch what I tell you.
Because that's a critical year.
Watch. Well, no, all of it is critical.
Yeah, I mean,
Right now, it is. He's right now. It's the first year.
Right.
Anything in the first year, anything goes. I'm listening to everybody.
Right.
Marriage, first year of your marriage, you honeymoon phase, baby. I love you to death.
Right.
Second year of your marriage,
The light
No
skin
cheese
comes
for
out.
you.
everything changes. Third year,
Would you say no what?
No cheese for you.
hey, bro, watch,
Eat
it
that
never
burger
fails.
with just the
They
bacon.
Light
all
skin
go-
comes out
they all
in the
go
second
through
year.
it. They all go. Every player has gone through it, where they distance themselves and it be about them, the girls, and their homeboys. And this kid in the summer, he gonna distance himself because he's gonna be off on his own. He's gonna be
Right.
traveling around in
Right.
Europe, and he's gonna be doing all these own things. And his daddy's
Might be
gonna-
right, man. I mean,
Right,
they gonna be
bro.
off in Lithuania doing whatever.
Well, no, those are the ones
That he
that
can
he's
still
going
control.
to grab. That's what he's doing now.
Right.
He's gonna cuff them
Right.
because they're still young and don't
Right.
have their own.
And in a country that they don't know nothing about. So
Right.
And when they go
he's there.
Lithuania, bro, that game over there ain't no pump. They gonna see if them boys can play. All that shooting 50 times to get 40 points. Man, and them people gonna tell him, you come over here if you want to, acting like that. You might not make it back.
What LeVar gonna do? Pull him out of there and take him where?
Let him threaten them people over there. Let him go over there and threaten them. What he gonna do? Do this and do. Okay, you can say that over here. That's easy. Go over there in them dictator countries, boy. And say all that goofiness. Man, this has been fun. I know.
This has been great, man. Yeah.
I got my information. Life is good, brother.
Hey, life is good, right?
Hey, man. Mr. More than lost.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to go home and watch Don Lemon.
We got to get you on here more, man. So we go bust it open like this and just talk, about things.
Pause. Say pause after that, man.
Pause, man. Why is Pat always the one, man?
Come on.
You don't
can't
ever
stop
tell no
yourself.
grown man, another grown man, they gonna bust it open.
See.
Hey, man, I got a lot of work to do with Ray, man.
That's
You
horrible.
don't ever tell, no grown man should ever tell, hey, man, come back over here, man, so we can bust it open.
That's horrible.
Hey, man, you know what, Ray? I love me, bro. You ain't got to stress it, bro. That went right over my head.
Me too. I don't know
My
what Pat
mind is
got
on
going
pause,
on here.
man.
Pat,
Bro,
this
you got to
is
just say
Pat.
pause, man.
That just tells you where his head is.
You know what I'm
man.
saying?
You know what I'm
That's what
saying? I always got something.
that's the
Come on,
conclusion
Pat, be
I'ma
sure.
come.
Let's,
Hey, man.
I'm coming to that conclusion.
Life is what it is, bro.
That's it, life is what it is.
Hey, bro, I
anywho,
live a stress-free life, brother. Y'all can say whatever y'all want to say. I don't go down that path. So, hey, Ray, you ain't hurt my feelings at all.
thank you, sir.
bro.
I appreciate that.
Life is beautiful, bro.
Patford over here. But anywho, man, give the viewers, more info on the toy drive and what you plan to do for this holiday season, man.
Well,
And,
the toy
yeah.
drive is private, believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
I pick the kids. Well, I don't pick them. I go through a community center. I have no idea who these people are, bro. I pick the kids through community centers all on the east side and then some on the west side. But I just tell them the amount of kids that I want,
Yeah.
the ages, and I let the community centers do the background checks on everybody.
Good.
Everybody, the thing of it for me is, whether if it's 1 through 1,200, they all get treated the same.
Nice.
And it's what I love about it. It's a lot of these families may not have ever or may not ever go to an event at the Murat Egyptian Ballroom. So when they do come, I put on. It ain't just a toy. They have a concert
Nice.
that I do.
Wow.
The Ashanti Children's Choir is going to perform, and then I have this gospel.
Shout out
group,
to
Judah
Deborah
Band.
Asante.
Shout out. What up, Deb? Judah Band is going to perform. I feed them. So we
Nice.
serve them like
That's a really
they
nice
sit
group.
down,
They're
man,
really
and we have Black Santa, Miss Santa, and it's an experience. It's an event that
That's awesome.
you don't have to get dressed up to.
Right.
So there are no requirements other than you know that you were invited. And that's the joy
That's
in it for
beautiful,
me,
man.
man. I
That's
get a
beautiful.
chance to
It is.
really look at something that my mother comes to, and she's excited and elated for me.
Right.
And that's my goal, is to make her, show her that, believe it or not, you're the reason that this happens. Because if I didn't walk through your footsteps,
Right.
I wouldn't be nowhere near doing something like this. And then, through the grace of God, man, that it's more than a task. I mean, I literally, Ray, I go shopping. Ask Pat. Pat came last year. Pat met me at Myers. It was like, man, what is this? Like, I literally go shopping, bro.
That's
I got
awesome.
my credit card, and
Wow.
so I do all the
It was
shopping.
crazy.
I have like 4 or 5 people that rock with me that we do that, and then I bag up all the toys, everything that requires. My name says the Amp Harrison Friends, blah blah blah. But when I go home, I'm gonna start dividing toys that I have in my basement already.
Yeah.
Breaking all that stuff down. Tomorrow I'll drive around and pick up toys from various locations
Yeah.
that people donate, which I don't ask.
Sure.
I put it out there, but everything is already self-contained, and that's
awesome.
what makes it so cool because there is not a bunch of red tape. All I ask is that you get there,
Right.
and then once you get there, you're going to be. We sit you down like you at a restaurant. Somebody come and take, and I mean, I'm serving pizza and cookies and stuff that is easy for everybody to eat.
Right.
But it's like we have a waiter or waitress who's ever serving your table.
Sure.
They come through. What type of pizza would you like? Cheese, blah blah blah. Write it down. They go get it, bring it back to you with your drink. And that's what it's all about. Just serving the people for 2.5 hours when they get up. Then they get the extra bonuses of taking the pictures with, T.Y. Hilton, Darius Butler, Robert Mathis from the Colts, and then the Pacers. I'm gonna have their Boomer, the mascot, there. The Colts mascot. The mayor comes. Congressman comes, and I'm excited because that's God showing favor that I totally now embrace.
Right.
For years, I'm like, I don't like that anointed word, and
Sure. Sure.
I still get
Sure.
paranoid with it, but
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Right.
Because without that, bro, the average person would go crazy. And I tell people, I don't want you to come in here with your corporate structure.
Right.
Well, I don't like this. Well, go do your own.
Right. Right.
If you don't like it, it's easy. I'd
Right.
have at it.
Right.
But for me, if you can't understand it's serving these families,
Right. That's big.
you can keep it. So now it's not about me trying to promote the event itself. It's bringing awareness because I can show people that anything is possible
Right.
if you believe.
Absolutely.
And so that's the story of it for me is I believe in a higher power that has chosen me to be the captain of this ship
That's
for this. And then there's a bunch of other ones that's going around. Mine just gets a lot of coverage because whether if it's me, the magnets that I have with me, but then even the reporters, and I always tell this story. My friend Dave Calabro from Channel 13 came last year just to cover the story. He had tears coming down his eyes, and he said, man, this is amazing that once he did the interview, he got some gloves and went and started serving the people.
awesome.
So that's when at the end of the day, you're doing something
Absolutely.
right. So,
Absolutely.
I appreciate y'all having me on here, man.
Thank you for being on.
Yeah, thank you, man.
I didn't know we was gonna go to church though.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's been a while since we, opened the circuit to talk about a lot of the relevant things. The gray area this year has been busy just talking about a lot of specific things in particular to help people, but today was refreshing and
That's really good,
and
man.
fun because we were able to just go, and we plan to do that a lot more in 2018. Still community focused and building up people, but we just thank you for coming through, man, and we appreciate, this is your second time coming on here, and we always have this
Hey man,
kind of
this is
dialogue.
like a
and
family
open-
reunion, man. I thought we was gonna close out with the Cupid Shuffle or something, man. That's what they do at the family reunion,
Right.
man.
but we just appreciate you, man, and all the stuff that you do that goes unnoticed.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, and we know it. We know it. Patrick knows more than anybody.
Yeah.
Hey,
man.
brother, this is a part about building that. You gotta have stuff like this where people have outlets.
Absolutely.
Our people don't have outlets.
Right. Need more of them.
Yeah, I mean,
We
but we
promote
need
that.
more people that are willing, that are visionaries,
Right.
like you and Pat, to do stuff like this, because this is the way the world is going. I got
Sure.
professional people, man, emailing me, man, I want you to come on my podcast. You got a what? But they know how to make money off of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Pat McAfee, speaking of the coach, retired, and
That's all he does.
that's all he does
Wow.
is his podcast.
And it's going good too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's making more money almost off of the podcast, he said, than playing football. And
Absolutely.
he can be drunk, be fat,
And still can kick.
drink, and do whatever, cuss, do whatever he wants. He said, man, I'm not governed by the NL fucking L. On that note, I'm leaving.
Ebony.
It's been this is my first time meeting you, Amp, and I'm just
Stop lying, Ebony.
It is. Well, I didn't talk to you last night. I didn't even, honestly.
I'm just
when
kidding. No.
When we saw you at the Classic,
No, I'm just messing with you.
I was like,
You great.
now, which one was it?
She was great. Gassed me up.
What?
It's been such a pleasure to meet you.
It is.
And
Why wouldn't I say that? Oh, that's true.
If Ebony says that, that's true.
I ain't gonna say nothing that's not the truth,
I heard
honey.
Ebony say that to Lil Willie and them last week.
That ain't true.
Ebony's light skinned, man. She ain't.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go with the light skin card on that one.
She don't give compliments, man.
That ain't true. Yeah, right. But it has been a pleasure meeting you, though. I love your energy. I love your vibe. And this may sound like the craziest thing, but I've been looking at your teeth the whole time, and they were just so beautiful. I know this is like the weirdest thing, but I know, right? I'm like the whole time, I'm just like, wow, they're just so beautiful. But it goes along with your beautiful spirit. So.
Well, look at here.
Look
Yes.
at that.
Yeah.
I'm coming back to the gray area tomorrow. We record that. I just might need to play that for somebody. Man, I ain't never had somebody talk to me like this on an interview. You know this the gray area.
Ebony done it.
What? Johnny shot who? Ebony. Hey, well, my dentist office is over here around the corner.
You know what I'm saying? Give them the plug. Give everybody the plug on the dentist office, you know?
That's because I don't drink the sugar water.
That's it. That's it. That's it right there.
That's what's up.
But I appreciate that, Ebony. That means a lot, man. You know, all you can do is be yourself. That's what I tell my little youngins.
Yeah.
Y'all need to take the gray area on the road,
That's
man.
right.
Yeah, man.
Oh, it's coming. It's a lot coming for 2018. We're going to talk about a lot of that in a couple of weeks.
See, y'all need to take the gray area into these churches, man. Y'all having these conversations. Give
Absolutely.
them an outlet.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we welcome, man. We welcome everybody. You know, like, we're going to close out here in a second, but it's, you know, like I said, we don't get paid to do this. This is all voluntary, and we spend times away from our family to come in here and do this. And shout out to our families for allowing us to be here, you know, every week, just to do this and just to speak with people. But we welcome people to get in touch with us. We invite you guys to come in and just have dialogue and talk with us and email us. Go to the website and click get on the show and just come. You know, we welcome that. We want more churches. We want more dialogue. And, you know, we want people to stop being comfortable. Get out your house, you know, do something different. Come talk to us or do something different.
That's called trust, bro.
Yeah.
In order for you to get them to be comfortable,
We gotta go to them.
they got to trust you.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Again, I know we touched on a lot
sure.
of things, but that is a fundamental problem in our society today from every aspect of it, especially with the police department. You can't ask somebody to be transparent with you if they don't trust you.
Right.
So in order for that to happen, you're going to have a lot of dialogue with someone
For sure.
for that wall to come down, because you might be dealing with 12, 15, 20 years of insecurity.
Oh, yeah.
That is a major hurdle to cross, brother.
And we welcome that.
And so y'all got to go to the people.
We will.
Yeah.
Y'all tucked away over here in this little cozy area.
We will. Soon as we
Y'all in the high rent
Keystone
district.
at the crossing and
Right,
stuff.
you know what I mean? Y'all over here in the high rent district. Why don't y'all come go down here with me?
look, and as soon as we figure out how to take this equipment with us,
That's right.
Hey, man, all you need is a detachable microphone.
we working on it.
I seen some people that's got less equipment than this. They done figured it out. Well, there's a will, there's a way. What'd you say, man? Prayer without works is what?
It's dead. We gonna do it.
So y'all got enough, man. You figured out a way to put this together.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
you can't tell me no.
No.
You can try
Absolutely
to,
not.
You can try to convince me no.
He's
But you
gonna
can't
look
tell
at
me
you
no.
like, yeah, right. He's gonna be like, yeah, okay, man.
But man, this is peaceful, man. I like this, man. We
sure.
gotta get
Appreciate
some,
you, man.
Red strobe lights and some strippers in here.
Oh, my
Oh no.
And we just talked about Jesus.
Hey, look, Jesus touched the strippers too.
He touched it.
He touched the strippers. He touched them.
He said,
Is
that what he was
healed.
I'm gonna
said,
tell y'all
"Bless
right
him."
now, if strippers come in here, they only getting quarters.
Hey,
They're
man.
not
look
getting
here.
Bitcoin.
No
You're not gonna give
dollars.
them them Bitcoin.
They ain't getting no Bitcoins
shares?
either.
Strippers don't care, bro.
Oh,
They
don't
gonna
get me
take
started
whatever
on-
you can give them.
Don't get me started on cryptocurrency. I can go for another hour.
You're not gonna give them cryptocurrency.
That's next week's episode.
Cryptocurrency.
Yeah, we
Cryptocurrency.
got to talk about
Ray, it's been
cryptocurrency.
busting out of Ray. He just we,
I'm just saying, man.
put it
I
on the
mean,
calendar,
I
Ray.
don't know where else you can make
Cryptocurrency.
$8,000. In
All right,
3
Ray,
weeks.
that's too much information and they ain't paid the dues, man.
Sorry,
Right.
sorry. P. Will.
Oh man, he know what it is, man. With me and him, bro.
Nah, you got a top Ebony, boy, don't you?
I mean,
You
that's big
can't
bro.
top
Like,
Ebony, boy.
Right.
Look here.
nah, man, he know what it is, man.
Ebony talking
Listen,
about my
that's
teeth. You gotta talk about
they are pretty. I mean, I'm just saying.
big- what
I
can I
just
talk
look,
about?
I've been staring in your mouth the whole time.
It's all right. In your
I have-
eyes.
I will say this.
You scare me.
You better run up out of here, Amp.
Look
I
here.
know. Ebony over there ready.
Shut up. It is not even like
He
that.
On that
Ebony
note.
over-
Why would you say
Ebony over there
that?
ready. I was playing.
That's
Hey,
so
what's
nice.
Nah,
this?
I will.
Is this like the after 11, the gray area?
Nah. This is the real.
like
cut the
MTV.
deck.
I just like nice
When they
teeth.
show
This is the real cut the deck. This is the real cut the deck.
Whatever.
after 11, y'all show a tip drill,
Uh-uh.
uncut.
No.
Welcome to the grid.
Oh man, you damn right.
Uncut.
We tried that one time. That was man.
Really?
Man, look,
Oh, God.
look, man. I will say this,
Tell me
man.
that
Like,
one.
I mean, he's one of the most humble dudes or people that I've ever met. So, I mean, that's one reason why I gravitate to him. And we talk about a lot of stuff, man. Over the years, which is why I call him Big Bro. He's giving me a lot of wisdom, a whole lot of advice, and I soak it in. Even when like he thinks that like he's really coming down on me, I'm like, nah, dude, like I really need that. So, I love you, bro. Appreciate you. And of course,
Oh, Ebony, he got you. He said he loved me.
Love you too, Aunt.
What?
What?
And I would definitely help you. Next week too, man.
Tuesday,
So,
Pat coming out to the toy drive. He gonna
Yep.
take pictures, Ray.
Yeah, man,
Oh,
I'll be
nice.
Yeah, he gonna
That's
come
beautiful.
in 10 o'clock.
there. Yep.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I'll be there, bro.
Yeah,
Man.
Pat love the kids.
I love the kids, man. I love the kids, man. You know
Pat's
what,
such
man?
a people person.
I do have a question for you. Do you take used toys?
No.
Okay. Because my son just randomly said, Dad, I want to give my toys to kids that want them. Just randomly.
Oh, it's a bunch of people that churches and stuff you can.
Yeah,
they-
Yeah,
take
so
them, yeah.
so
I
I,
mean,
told
like,
him,
the-
just go through them and because he has a ton of toys. So I just told him, son, just go and pick out the ones
And that's
that,
the greatest.
that you don't want.
That's the greatest lesson. And I started that with my daughter years ago.
Yeah.
She just texted me and was like, "Dad, what day you say the toy drive was?"
Uh-huh.
Because that's the stuff that's important to kids
Yeah.
that they'll forever take with them. Because a lot of times our kids take it for granted.
Yeah.
They take
Yeah.
it for granted that you can get this and you can get that. And so with my daughter, I instilled in her years ago, you take it for granted that I buy things for you. There are a lot of kids that don't get these things. And I mean, over the years, man, this is really important because I wasted a lot of money trying to impress my daughter.
Yeah.
And that's what we do as parents is when we don't know any better.
Right.
But now that she's 13, she'll tell me, Dad, I don't need this. I don't
Right.
need that. I don't need.
Yeah.
Don't do this.
Pat,
So
yeah, he's like that now.
So that's how.
It's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
when, even when we talked about Christianity and faith
Right.
in church,
Right.
you instill that in them,
Right.
and you hope they stay. They may not stay on the path
Yeah.
It'll be
100%,
in them. Yeah.
but they won't stray from it.
Right. Right. The moral
We're
compass
in
is
a
still there.
society now, man, that it's easy to be persuaded
Right.
because everybody's looking for that, not literally, but that get high moment
Right. Right.
right now,
Right.
and everything. I don't want to work.
Right.
I don't want to go to school. I want it right now.
Right.
So, what you're talking about, Pat, is that's important because my situation is like that. That I'm already covered. That I don't the toy piece of it. I got more toys than I can use. But I'm going shopping to adopt more kids.
Yeah.
that won't be able to come to the thing. And that's where, that's the stuff that's not publicized. But if you come to my house in my basement, in my garage, I got more toys for kids. And I mean, if I could put more people in the place, I would. Because I've been blessed that way to be able to do that. And I've got people to come alongside of me that I didn't ask. There are people that said, hey, we're going to write a check for you.
Yeah.
Every check that they've written goes back into giving this event, making it better. So, with your son, bro, what I would say to you is go with him to find a community center or a one of these youth programs that you would be surprised, bruh. These kids have nothing.
Yeah.
46218,
Yeah.
46201.
I grew up in 218. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trust me,
So,
I know.
But it's a good thing to allow your son to see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're there with him, and you're allowing him to give the toys out. If anything that I would tell people, that's what I would tell them. Take your kids and let them experience this stuff.
Yeah.
Stop hovering over your kids and thinking that your life is the only life that's out there.
Right.
Yeah.
There's way more to it, boy. Especially the ones who think my child goes to private school. And my child goes to private school too. But guess what? Let her act like she's better than somebody else's kid to go to public school.
Exactly.
She'll be at a public school next year.
Yeah.
Right.
Real quick. I just told her that the other day. You can keep talking about the schools you want to go to, but let your grade slip.
Right.
We're going to go to a school where it's easier
Right.
for you.
Right.
That's what I told her. If you think you're up here,
Got to bring them back down.
Yeah.
and that's
Got
on
to
the
bring 'em
parents.
down.
But
Humility,
I'm out of
man.
here. Ebony,
All right.
I don't know if we signed off or what
about
we
to
did.
we
Y'all
about to
see
sign
me,
off
y'all
right
see
now.
me hugging Ebony?
Hey, I just want to tell y'all viewers out there, thank y'all for rocking with us. We always
Nice to take a
love when you
picture, bro.
guys share our feeds and support us, and we just thank you guys for that. So we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for rocking with us. We're going to get it in.
Y'all,
Peace.
Take a flick.
God bless you. Peace and blessings.
I gotta be at work in 7 hours.
You're going to be all right, Ebony.
Welcome to the Gray Area. The Gray Area Media. We've obligated ourselves to be the voice for all communities, speaking on topics that include community, religion, education, politics, technology, sports, health, and wellness. The Gray Area Media is a platform created by longtime friends for the sole purpose of providing our communities with the ability to voice current, past, and modern day issues. The Gray Area and its naming significance solely speaks to the area in which people shy away from speaking because of media-based constraints or contractual-based obligations. Well, I'm here to tell you, we don't do that here. So please, stay tuned in. We're going to go live in a few minutes. Don't forget, please add us as a friend on Facebook so that you can follow our live feed. And not only that, please add us on Twitter and Instagram at The Gray Area Media. Please visit our website at www.thegrayareamedialive.com. Thank you.